we could come back and be like, right, okay, this is where we're at, this is what we want. Whereas some people are just dogs and they need to go.
So, sorry, I'm boxing back to Chris, I can't help it.
But I'm so hungry, I'm like,
sorry, I love a chicken crisp, I'm sorry, right? Right, but what oh God, I'm supposed to be fasting.
Oh, no one saw, there's no evidence. It's
I'll
okay.
start at 10 o'clock. What I'm saying, I think sometimes you do need to reset. Maybe the relationship doesn't work, and sometimes people are going through a difficult patch in the relationship. What would you say are the things that made you think like, no, there's still something there?
I think having the headspace to do your own healing. So, and a bit like what Els was saying, so Mrs. Milkchain, my other cousin, a cousin-in-law, it's about understanding what you want and being open and honest enough to say that to the other person without worrying about the consequences. So I think for us, we were in quite a good space, because in normal times you wouldn't necessarily always be completely honest, or maybe want to be as vulnerable, because you don't know the consequences might be that you don't stay together, because you might say, like you were saying, I want a baby, and the other person doesn't, and you're a bit too scared to say it. So we were quite fortunate that we didn't have that, because the worst had happened, we weren't together, so we could lay all our cards on the table and there wasn't a worse consequence, if that makes sense. So we were then being able to say, right, this is what I want, and this is what I want from a partner, not necessarily you as an individual, but this is what I want from someone else. And then, well, actually, this is what I want. Okay, well, that aligns with this, and this aligns with this. And what do we want as a family? What do we want, you know, in 5 years, in 10 years time? And be quite honest about that. I think honesty, and not just with the other person, with yourself, because you can sometimes tell someone something because you think that's what you want, but it's not.
Yeah, someone was saying that to me the other day about dating a relationship. Sometimes you've got to be honest and be like, okay, this is what the other person wants, but isn't what you want.
Yeah,
so you've got
the idea of a family and the idea of that happy, lovely life, you can be more in love with than the person. And so you've got to understand, do you love, or are you in love with the idea of happy families and happy couple, or with the actual person that is sitting opposite you?
Just come with that one again. I don't think they heard at the back. Say that one again.
Are you, ask yourself please, in love with the idea of happy families and happy couple and what we see online and what we think is the ideal, or are you in love with the person in front of you? And are you settling? Are you a bit like, well, there's not much time left, so let me just, this is okay, you deserve more than okay. That's what you've got to let yourself know. You deserve more than this is okay. This should be great. This should be exciting. This should be everything you want and more. Not, this is okay, so we'll just stay here because this is all right, isn't it? Yeah.
I think sometimes people feel with someone that they've met, but they're so scared of it that they almost put their own, they sabotage. Yeah. So I think for some people it's easier to stay with something that you're comfortable in, totally. whether that is even an abusive relationship in the sense of emotionally and whatever. And I'm not saying that some people put themselves in a situation. I'm not saying that, because for people who are in an abusive relationship, it's such a hard thing to leave. And not necessarily abusive. I mean that, and I don't mean to offend anyone. What I mean is sometimes it's easier to stay in something that you're used to. So if you're used to a man that's not consistent, take away abuse, because nobody wants to stay in abuse if in an abusive relationship. If you're used to a man that says, yeah, soon come, and don't turn up. If you're used to a man who says like, we don't have to put no labels on this. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's just draw to you. If you're used to a girl that's like just a hot gal and she only wants to see you when she wants to see you, you know, if you're used to a man that only wants to link you through an app, then when you get someone who is different to that, it's like, it's good, but it's almost like, oh, it's uncomfortable because it's a change.
Yeah, and we do that with everything. We do that with jobs, we do that with opportunities, we do that with people, with friendships, with relationships. If you step into something that is probably more than what you deserve, you're like, oh, this is weird. This is what they reply to my message as soon as I've texted it. Oh, this is weird.
Babe,
in the phone whenever. Oh, okay.
You can call them.
Weird. And you charge.
And you know what as well? You will get that newness, and it's so different to anything. I think this must knock people sometimes. You meet someone that's so different to what you've had that you have to sit down and realise, like, I've been opening up myself to crap.
Yeah.
Like, you're so used to that, you didn't even know there was anything else. Sometimes you can't. I think I've spoken about this on a book, not on a book. Well, let me speak that into the universe. Yeah?
Manifest it, yes. Talk it.
Speak that into the universe, yeah?
Yes.
But I mean, I think I spoke about this in a video about we're so open to the red flags, but we don't even see the green flags when it's a good person.
We miss them. But also because we're almost so used to being on high alert.
Say that again?
We're so used to being on high alert. So we're so used to looking for red flags that we miss the good things, because that's what we're getting onto. Because when you've been in a bad place and you're kind of going into a good place, your first thing is to think of all the bad things that you notice, because you're on high alert, you're nervous, you're anxious, you're wondering what's going to happen next, where's this going to go wrong, what's going to go wrong here. So you're already looking for the negatives, and that's what you're going to attract, that's what you're going to point out, that's what you're going to see, rather than sitting back and allowing yourself to be comfortable where you're at and say, no, actually, let me see where this is going to go, let me have some sort of positive, this might be okay. This might be okay.
Like I was saying earlier, it's about learning to trust yourself, that if it isn't, you can take yourself out of it.
100%.
You know, just what advice would you give to people who maybe are single, or actually people that are going through a challenging period in their relationship and have walked away for a little while? Like, what advice would you give?
One, I always say, and if it's accessible to you, go to therapy. I'm a massive advocate for therapy. I think it is hands down one of the best decisions I ever made for my, like, if I have to choose between buying clothes for myself and going to therapy, I'm going to therapy. Like that's where I'm going.
And I've got to reveal. So are you dual heritage, mixed race?
Yes, my mum's Jamaican and my dad's white.
And I need to say to the black community, we need to get rid of this worry of getting therapy.
Oh, it's such, culturally, we've always been told, you know, don't chat your business, everything's okay, keep that in-house, you don't need to tell no one nothing, pray about it. All those things are great, they're great, but do you know what, sometimes you need professional help. I need it. I say, and I don't,
I've had listen,
every Sunday
I was looking and I was saying, oh, I might get a little therapy in the next couple of months, and not because of anything particular. I think it's because of, like, sometime in life you can just be going.
Yeah.
And I find for myself, I have to big up Eddie. I'm someone, I will work till the end. Yeah. And sometimes there's a pattern of behavior that you have, and you need to find out where this pattern of behavior comes from.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between working hard and almost self-neglect, you know?
Absolutely.
So I see certain patterns, and maybe because I have done, you know, studied social work and, you know, mastered in mental health, and I do want to do psychotherapy, and I love those kind of things. And I think sometimes, even when you're doing good things in life, it's always good to just have that conversation with someone who is not emotionally invested or connected to you.
Totally.
Someone that has got that unique skill in therapy, so that you can talk about how you are feeling about your transition, you know, your transition in life, whether that is becoming more financially stable, whether it could be even losing weight, whether it's a new relationship. I think it's really important to understand what you're taking from a previous chapter of your life into your new chapter. And I will admit, there's not enough black therapists. And I know some people say
there is. It's where you find them. So there are a few directories that are specifically for Black, Asian, and different ethnicities, just specifically for those therapists. So I found my therapist, and I've got a Black female therapist. That was really important to me because I wanted someone who understood my family. Like, I grew up with just my mum. I only met my dad a few years ago, so I just grew up with my Jamaican family.
Look, someone just said here, the Bent family, I'm a black therapist. Please can you request me? We want to talk to you straight after.
Yes.
The Bent family, please request me so that I can talk to you. People, remind me of this person so I can get to speak to him.
100. There are, and that person probably be best. I can't. What I will do is I'll send you the link when we finish. You can share it on your stories. But there is a way. I found her on there. I've had her a while now, but where you can find someone who's at least culturally aligned to you, so they understand where you're coming from. That was really important for me. But I think as couples as well, there needs to be no shame or stigma in, we're not having a good time, we need somebody else to step in and help us both understand from a different perspective. Because otherwise you can go at each other and argue with each other and for ages, but you need someone else to step in and go, whoa, 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 wait 1 second. Where are you feeling? How are you? Where are you at?
I want people to understand who are not from the black community in the sense of West Indian African, who are Caucasian, Asian. It's not a thing of saying nobody else is good enough to give therapy. What some black people are saying is they need someone that understands their cultural dynamics.
Absolutely, and that's what I was looking for. So I grew up in a Jamaican household. We went to church. We go to church. We're Christian. I wanted someone who understood that, because there were things about that I wanted to unpack.
Yes.
So I needed someone who understood that. Now, that's not necessarily saying that another therapist couldn't help me, but that was my personal preference, and I sometimes think that does help. It might be the opposite for someone. You might not want someone who's from that kind of background, so that they can give you a different perspective completely.
I love what Sandra Bennett 186 said. She said, we go to the doctors regular to check on our physical health.
Right.
Why not check on your mental health and well-being as well?
There's no shame in it. I think there's so much shame crowded in it and stigma, especially for men, especially for black men. But for me, I talk about therapy openly. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm going therapy at 6. I talk about like I'm going hair shop or nail shop, because it's that important to me, and that's how I want to normalize it, especially amongst my online community. So I'm like, oh yeah, I've got therapy at 6. I say to my family, right guys, no one talk to me for an hour and a half, because I'm going in the other room. I'm looking myself in there for therapy, because I have it online now, because obviously I can't go and see her. And that's what I do. And I think we have to normalize that, and especially in relationships, because if I don't do that to unpack my stuff, what am I bringing into my marriage? How that, and I need support with that. And there's no shame in that.
What's beautiful, we've had that conversation. Someone else on the couch with Kim. We're going to go to these two on the couch with Kim and the Bennett family. Please request me right now so we can come
do it.
Jess, thank you so much.
Love you.
I need to get my lip gloss. Love you too, baby girl. Just tell the people where they can find you and what you got coming up. And meanwhile, I get my lip gloss.
Go and get your lip gloss. Oh look, she's left me alone with everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Jess. I'm also known as the Fat Funny One. You can find me at the Fat Funny One everywhere online. I don't know what to say now. I feel like I'm under pressure because I've got to keep everyone going until she gets back. I do a one-woman show called Fat Funny and Fearless. I talk all things body confidence. I'm thick and chubby and I love it, and I want to empower people to wear what they want, do what they want, be who they want, because I think we all can and all should. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are blessed and highly favored.
Yes.
Amen. I don't know what I'm shouting. I'm gonna wake up my damn picnics. Sorry, I'm shouting in my house like I'm crazy. But yeah,
I'm here, babe. Thank you so much, honey.
You're welcome. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Listen, guys, therapists, come forward. Because we've got like, I really want to play a Konya Doss song. Let's see if I can find him, if they did request me. Oh, yeah. What's going on this? Am I on YouTube now? Hello.
Hi.
I went straight into client mode. Hello.
Hello.
Your name is Kim.
Yeah, I'm Kim.
Sorry, someone's asked me about my lip gloss. I've got a lip gloss from MAC. I don't know what the name is. It's called Oh Baby. It's number 301. Oh Baby. Oh Baby from MAC. So how long have you been a therapist for?
I think about 6 or 7 years it's been now.
And what
I
kind
mainly
of
work
area of
with
therapy do you do? Are you CBT, psychotherapy?
I mainly work with victims of domestic abuse and sexual violence.
Wow.
That was my main, I started working for Women's Aid when I first qualified as a counsellor, and that's where my expertise kind of is in, really. But but recently I started this On the Couch with Kim page because I've been single for like 7 years as well. So I was like, I'm a counsellor, I'm counselling people around like their relationships and things like that, but then I'm still unable to kind of find my own relationship in this life. So, you know, we're not all perfect, but it's about kind of knowing yourself and knowing, you know, what your flaws are really, and where you need to kind of do that work. And what the previous lady was saying, therapy is just so important in terms of just getting to know you as a person, because what the previous people were saying as well about coming together in a couple as wholes. If you're not a whole person, you're not going to form healthy relationships with people. You're going to go into a relationship wanting something specific from that person that they might not be able to give to you. So you have to do the work on yourself first to know where your you know, where your flaws are, where your traumas have happened that have impacted on your yeah. It always comes back to traumas. We've all suffered them, we've all had them, and they will. But what I noticed when I was counselling the victims of like domestic abuse, sexual violence, whatever, those traumas were then impacting on their future relationships. So because they hadn't done the work that they needed to do to move past some of those traumas that they'd had, they were unable to form healthy relationships with other people, and not just like sexual relationships or romantic relationships, but just relationships with family, just relationships with friends. If you don't do the work on that trauma that you've suffered, you're not going to have those healthy relationships in your life, and that's why therapy is so important.
And as well, sometimes you're not even conscious of these traumas that you've had and how it's affected you, because grown in it and you've kind of come to a situation of feeling like this is the norm.
Yeah, I've got to say, the normality, things become normal, especially as you were saying, like about in like the Black community. Some of the things that happen in our households or in our families, we've normalized them to be things that, you know, are just normal, like, you know, just certain things that might happen. It happens in all cultures. So then you begin to think, oh, okay, you know, that's normal. And, you know, I really kind of understood what you were saying when you were talking about growing up in a household, single parent, because my mum was a single mom, but she was a strong single mom, you know, one of those ones that worked hard, and, you know, she didn't need anybody. And I've kind of invested that into my life, which is why I feel like I've been single for so long, because it's almost like I'm so used to being that strong, independent woman that doesn't need anybody. And then I think when I date people, that then comes across to them like I don't need them in my life. Like why should I date you when you don't need me anyway? Because men want to feel wanted, they want to feel needed, they want to feel like, you know, they're going to have a purpose in your life. And I think maybe sometimes I come across as maybe, you know, I don't need that person in my life. And it's not that I don't need them, it's just that that's what I've had to learn to do, because I've been single for so long. I'm a single parent, you know. I've had to learn to manage by myself, you know, catch those spiders, do my own gardening, do my own decorating. Like, nothing that do you know what I mean? So there's nothing that I can't do by myself. So then when I meet a guy, they're like, well, you know, what do you need me for? Kind of thing.
I need you for your body. Not the
yeah, exactly. There's certain things that we can't do by ourselves.
We can sort ourselves. You know, I think for me personally, I feel like I'm continuously learning about myself. I'm continuously answering questions about myself, and I think that's because of things I've been through and because of what I've studied. And I think it's really important. But I think that at times, before relationships or in the relationships, we don't really live our true self. Like, I feel like so much people walk around with this wall, this pretense of who they really are. And how, as a therapist, as a counsellor, how would you advise someone to start the process of really taking the steps to learn who they are, or getting the help to find out who they are or deal
Yeah.
with these childhood traumas, which are, you know, psychodynamics. And I think sometimes we even block these things out. And it's really important because, like what they were saying, you know, we are all different, fragmented, broken people trying to have relationships. The reality is, people, we want love, but we learn love and relationships from childhood, from experience. How do we kind of detach from those traumas or things that shape us that are unhealthy to start living a more healthy emotional life?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because most counselling is a chargeable service. So if, you know, the people who need the most are the people who can't really afford to access it.
Yes.
So exactly, and then it depends what borough you live in, or what city you live in, what kind of mental health services are available where you live. So where I live, there are, which is in Birmingham, there are some services that you can access through your doctors, or through like certain agencies that might offer free counselling. But even then, they probably only offer maybe 6 sessions, and that is just not enough to get proper therapy, because it takes about 6 sessions to get to know your counsellor and to really want to actually open up with that counsellor, and then it's finished. So, you know, I really kind of advocate to try and get more mental health services available for people who actually need it. You know, unless you've got like a specific issue that you want to tackle. So if you've got like sexual violence or domestic abuse, there's usually services that you can tap into, like gambling or drug and alcohol misuse. You can tap into certain services. If you just want to be a healthy person and just have a healthy mind, to try and find some services to actually get some help and just like try and have a closer look at yourself and a look at your traumas that you suffered in your past, and, you know, what you want to move forward with. It's really difficult to find those services at a cheap cost, or, you know, at no cost, and a lot of times people don't want to. When people have counselling, they're like, now I understand why people pay for it, but they don't actually want to invest in it at first, because they're like, why am I going to pay somebody to talk to them about things that I don't want to talk about? Really, it sounds a bit crazy to people, but actually, like, to become a therapist, you have to have therapy. So when I had my therapy,
when I did my therapy, that there was 1 week of therapy that I did. My God, and
we had to do 40 hours, but some people have to do 100 hours. But we had to do 40 hours of counselling. And to be fair, I had 3 different counsellors during that time, and I didn't gel with all of those counsellors. So when my first counsellor, I couldn't really get that relationship going with that person. So it's, you know, that's the other thing about free counselling, is that you're stuck with the counsellor that you're offered, and that might not be the person that you need to be able to speak to about the issues that you want to speak to. As you was just saying, you know, some people might want people who understand them culturally. So they might want a Black counsellor, or they might want an Asian counsellor. But when you're getting free counselling, you don't really get a choice as to who that counsellor is going to be, or who, you know, whether you're going to be able to speak to them properly. But yeah, when I did find a counsellor that suited me, it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. I was just like, this is amazing. Like,
Dream She Wrote said that there's free therapy being offered for Black people in the UK, and, you know, I want to say this, and for white people, Asian people, whatever background, Chinese, and I need them to understand this. Yeah, I have realized, and I said this on my radio show the other day, and I will talk about it in depth once I really understand it, but I realized that myself and many other people are suffering from secondary trauma. And what this is, you know, there's been Black Lives Matter, there's been the murder of George Floyd, we're seeing knife crime and all the rest of it. What people need to understand, and especially in this moment, constantly being asked, what do you think needs to be done to help racism? What do you think? When you're seeing something, it's not necessarily you or a family member, but you're seeing another person that reflects you, in the sense of, you've got a Black dad, you've got a Black brother, you've got a Black son, and you're constantly seeing that. What happens is it sets off almost like post-traumatic stress disorder, because you're constantly, oh my God, that could have been, or what if, and you go into that mode. And I realized this because I realized this maybe like 2 years ago. I watched a show. It was a slavery show that came on the TV.
I can't watch them, Judi. I can't watch them.
And I watched
it. Literally caused me pain, like physical pain when I watched them.
It took me 3 days
yeah.
to get over. And when people are like, what do you mean? I mean, I watched it and then I started to feel like, because this woman, it was a fantastic show, but I watched it and I just thought of the woman losing her child and then her child buying her back. And then you start to feel, oh my God, if my mum had to go through that, if I had to go through that, how would you feel? Because it's so almost relatable to you, because you know someone down your line in your family.
I'm so glad you've said that, because people will like forward me or, you know, prompt me to go and watch certain programs or certain films and whatever. And when I say to them, like, I can't watch them, like, it really upsets me. And they're like, no, you need to watch it. Like, you need to watch it. It's really educational. And I'm like, no, like, it literally causes me to have a trauma. Like, I feel traumatized by it. And somebody just mentioned in the comments about post-traumatic slave syndrome. Oh. And I do believe that is actually true. Like, I believe that somewhere in my ancestry, I've had slaves in my ancestry, because I literally feel it. I can feel it when I watch those programs. It causes me like I get a visceral reaction to it.
So my thinking, imagine if you've got your own traumas. Hey, sorry, I thought I was going to start speaking tongues just then. If you've got your own traumas from your own childhood, your own issues where you feel like you've been segregated within your society now, then you're watching those things from the past.
Just piling on top of the other.
We have a lot of healing to do. It's no joke. So I think it's really important to highlight.
And then you've got these people trying to get into relationships with each other, which is why you have the issues that you have in certain relationships. You know what I mean? Because they're not doing the work and they don't understand that they have to do that work prior to getting into a relationship with somebody. And no one's perfect. Like, I'm not saying you've got to become a perfect human being before getting into a relationship. You've just got to know what your insecurities are. You've got to know what, you know, what traumas you're carrying, so that if you're in a relationship with somebody and something happens, or an argument happens, or, you know, an incident happens in that relationship, you can identify whether you're actually upset with that person or whether previous traumas or previous incidents in other relationships are impacting on your relationship now. That's the only way you're going to understand it, if you've done the work first before getting into a relationship. So if I have an argument with a partner, you know, because they've not tidied up or they've not done something, you know, am I actually angry with them, or have they reminded me of something that's happened in my past or has happened with a previous relationship?
Well, you and I will know about counter transference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's someone that reminds you of something, and you know, and that's why it's so important. And I think, you know, people are like, oh, it's quarantine date nights, but all of these things systematically contributes to how we see ourselves and how.
And I'm a counsellor, and I'm still single. Like, I still struggle to find a relationship.
And how we form relationships, it's things that we will have to have a discussion about. So I just want to say thank you to you. Tell the people they can find you, and it's been a beautiful conversation. I know for many, if anybody has been triggered by this, you know, please, there's Avid Lines, there's Samaritans, we've got Kim here, you know, there's places, and someone's going to send us a link of, you know, other therapists, not just Black therapists, but other therapists as well. But, you know. Yeah,
and I'm happy if anybody wants to inbox me, I can point them in the right direction for certain services and things like that. I'm not saying that I can personally help you, but I can put you in the right direction for those specific services.
Please tell everyone where you can find and put your name, tag your name in the comments, please, as well.
I will. Thanks, Judi.
Thank you, Kim. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, you said you're single. Do you mind if you get a slide in your DMs?
Wow. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, feel free to slide into my DMs if you want. Only come with respect, though. Respect.
Okay, love that. Thank you, baby.
Thanks, Judi. Bye.
Bye. What a brilliant, you know, how lovely. Oh, have I done? Oh, what I did. Such a needed conversation. And if anybody is triggered by the conversation, please, you can inbox Kim. You know, there's helplines that we can put up. People can put up some if you see it now. Women Aid have a 24-hour domestic violence helpline. Thank you for that. So please, oh, this is brilliant, ladies. Let's see if this person will go live. Single people, baby or partner, which one? Are you more looking for the baby, or do you want the partner as well? If the partner says no baby, would you stay with the partner, or would you move on to try and find someone who wants the baby? I want to hear your choice. Have you been through that? Have you got pregnant and the person was like, no, sorry, I don't want no baby, even though you've been with them for like 5 years, and now they're like, no, I'm not feeling that. Listen, we got to get into this because we've got like 40 minutes left, because I've got filming in the morning, and I got to look fresh in the morning. If I tell you what I've done today, Judi, your skin looks good, so good. Sorry, I have to say it. Oh, don't be sorry, baby. I know. The Bent family, come forward, come forward. Judi, you're good, you know. Thank you. I've really got this song in my head, and it's by Konya Doss. I'm going to try and get her on the show, and it's called You're So Fine. Also, Dave Loved, Carried Away. Go and look at these people. They're absolutely phenomenal. Okay, this person's taking long. It's gone. Let's go. Who's ready to come live? Who's ready to come? Let's go. I feel like today is more going to probably be a bit of like learning for us than necessarily.
I'm going in the kitchen because everyone got the TV on. Do you want to be on live then or not? All right, live Instagram. Live Instagram.
Hello.
Sorry.
Was that your missus? Even though it's gone 10 o'clock, but because we're having an open, honest conversation, was that your missus?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Nadia, she's going to have to come next week. Sorry, guys, because she's in the middle of filming something else. She's doing something else. What's your name, my darling?
Richard.
Richard, so what happened there? What happened? You wanted to come live with your wifey or what?
No, they're watching the TV so that I can't hear it. So I said, let me get in the kitchen because I didn't know you were going to pick me. So just a random like, oh, right, you picked me on live. So I said to her,
so you're in a relationship?
Yeah.
Is there something you wanted to tell us about the relationship or give advice, Richard?
Advice? Just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
How long have you been in your relationship, Richard?
50. The little one's still awake. Can't wait for him to go back to school. Say hello. Love a phone, but won't go on it.
So how long have you been in your relationship for?
15 years.
15. Are you in an interracial relationship?
Yes.
And let's get into the juice of it. So how did you meet your partner? How has that been for you? On Sunday on my BBC Radio London show, we're doing all things interracial relationship, because I'm going to keep it real with you. I had to block some. Oh, your daughter's there. Block her ears, please. Block her ears.
Him. No one. Yeah, you had to block. Yeah, I listened to your show.
I had to block some Ross the other day because we had a beautiful couple that came on the other day, and someone said something quite rude, and it made me think, like, is there still a lot of stigma with interracial relationships? Like, do people get into relationships and find someone that they really like, but they worry about, oh, they're not the same culture? I don't know, what was it like for yourself?
You see, my granddad gave me the best advice, but he said you can't choose who you fall in love with. That's the said. He said you can't choose. No one can choose for you. You can choose for yourself. So yeah, so we've been together what, 15 years, 2 children. So my partner is half Italian, half Filipino, and I'm Jamaican. So it's a very mixed culture.
You got some culture seasoning up in there, I'll tell you that for sure.
So
do you have any more advice?
You just have to learn to just adapt and just compromise.
Compromise. Okay, Richard. Thank you so much. Tell your wife we said hi.
Yeah, of course I know.
Much love. Thank
Bye.
you. Nothing to say. Yeah, nothing to say. Yeah, no. Who's next? There is still a lot of stigma. I get more gripe from black people than white people when they see my husband lie together. Oh, okay. Just come up on here. Let's go see if you will go live. We'll get into this. Boy, we changed the dynamics of the show. Okay, they just did. How was it mixing the culture at home? Judi, I love your earrings. Thank you. I got these from, was it Zara's or H&M? I think it was H&M. Okay, let's see who this is, because we've got some. Who's ready to go live? Would you take the baby or take the man or take the woman? Or... Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Let's get this one, because Mills has said single black men. Single, she was single black men. Oh, request you again. Okay. Let's go. Was that a child? We can't have no child up here. Hi, Mr. Dutty. That was a child. Okay. Come on, the Bent's family. I'm requesting you. He said to request you again. I am. We're waiting. We're waiting. My turn to talk. Okay, Richard, I'm coming to you straight after. Richard Bailey, request me, please. Request me. I'm just seeing if this one will go through. Richard Bailey will come to you. I don't know what's happening. Why it's taking so long. Okay. Richard, where are you? I just saw Richard Bailey. He wanted to come forward. The Bent's family, I requested you and it took, it just, oh no, that's the wrong person. Sure. I'm going live, but it's telling me waiting for Bent family to take. Come on. Come on. Babes. Come here. Okay. All right, Richard. I'm requesting you now. Let's go. Some more, please, guys. Thank you, darling. The music, Jay, is being cut off because they will block me. Hi, Richard.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You do not know, Judi. I have been following you for years.
Do you know what? I looked at the name and I was like, is this Richard from Facebook when I used to do
yes.
Really?
Yes. It's this handsome white geezer. Judi, if I was straight, I would be saying, I'd be on my knees begging you to marry me, man.
You won't be the last. You won't be the first.
Listen, baby, you are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Oh my God, you are. And when I see you on Loose Women, I have to stop my day job just to watch you. And if my boss ring, I'm saying I'm on my lunch break because I'm watching you.
Thank you, babes. You know, you've been a follower for years then, real talk.
This is the first time I've been able to talk to you.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my.
I just got one thing to say to you, Judi.
Yeah.
Nah, sir. That now I got work.
I swear, Dad, I've got to get that in on Loose Women tomorrow.
You have got to get that phrase
nah,
in.
sir. That word. That was one of my starting lines. So listen.
I love that. And in Pranksters, I still remember that sketch that you've
We're
done.
going back way back.
Listen.
You're one of my loyal fans.
I'm not. Well, this is what I'm telling you. I should be getting royalties. Listen, when you were on Pranksters, I still cry at that scene when you're doing your aerobic session, Jamaican style. Oh my word! And you see the white man in the corner who ain't got a clue what's going on. And the best one was when you were in central London and you were pretending to be a Jamaican presenter and you're saying, talk the ting, now talk the ting. And he's like, talk the what? Talk the what? And you're saying, talk the ting, tell me, you saying, talk the ting and run, you see. Judi, you do not know the medicine that you have brought to my life. I am telling you now, my God, I've been on some roller coaster, but you know what cheers me up is when you do those videos. Oh my God. Tracy Ann, Poochie. I love it.
Tracy's a real one. We've all got one. So, you know, you said you've been on roller coasters. Are you single, Richard?
I'm single, darling.
What do you mean you're single? When was the last time you was dating someone, some fine fella?
Listen, I'm from London, lived in Brighton for most of my life, moved up to Yorkshire, and I now live in Huddersfield, a town called Huddersfield, which is between Manchester and Leeds.
So what, there's no nice man down there?
Listen, there's none. Well, if they are, let me hope that they're on your show right now, because check me out, you see.
So what happened to the last guy you was with?
Right, okay, so
Tell us
story is...
Tell us the juice, Richard.
Yeah, I'll give you the juice. Wait, no. Right, so anyway, so before I came out gay, I was married to a woman.
I need some chocolate, Richard. Hold on.
Yeah.
Richard, hold on. Richard!
Oh, Judi!
Richard, Richard! Come and kiss Richard. I love Richard already. Because which one should I have? Okay.
Have both, babes.
I'm going to try this one. Richard, what you say? Come with
What me say? God, I can't believe I'm talking to you, Judi. You just do not know the impact you've had on my life.
We love that you're sharing. It's, for me, it's non-judgment, because there's people behind the doors that are doing worse things. Anyone got something bad to say, they need to go sit down. You're telling us the truth. Go on, Richard. Richard, go on.
So I used to be a pastor. Listen, you'll have me talking in tongues in a minute, sister. So second yourself down.
Richard, what you say, Richard?
So I was a pastor, and of sort of very Pentecostal black-led church, very charismatic. And I met my ex-wife in the church, and I've got a daughter who's 22.
Oh, you don't look like you.
Everyone says that. Listen, babes, I've got a real good surgeon that doesn't. No, I don't have no surgery. This is.
You took that black so deep that you don't crack.
Everyone says that. As soon as they see that my child's dual heritage, they're like, you taste the chocolate. So anyway, so I got married, and I was quite young. I was what, about 24? Yeah, because Sophie. Yeah. Well, it's one of those things in church where you don't court for long because, you know, you want to get your ting, and it's like no sex before marriage. You know what I'm saying? So
trust me,
so anyway,
I've hosted many MC at many as master ceremony, many Christian weddings, and I always say, you lot got married quick because you want to get the ting.
And when you look, there's a trailer load of babies afterwards.
Yeah, you understand? So go on with the ting.
So anyway, so before, like, growing up as a child, I always used to look at boys and sort of, I don't know, used to look at them and think it was all right. And my own family used to tease me about, they used to call me a puffter and stuff, really, really abusive.
So if anyone finds that offensive, we apologise. Richard is talking about his own personal experience.
Yeah, it's my experience. And so I sort of grew up trying to fit into this heterosexual normality of, like, you get married, you have kids, you own a house, car, all of that. And so when I was in church, I was obviously indoctrinated that it was like, you know, Adam met Eve, blah, 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 which, you know, I still have my faith. But I knew that I was suppressing who I was. And so my marriage wasn't very healthy. I won't go into that because that's just
That's
really...
no, we don't need to do that, people.
But it was like, I made the decision when I was 29 that actually I really need to discover who I am. And that's when I had my first gay kiss.
Where you actually?
In Kia Park, in someone's Kia.
Did you? So wait, did he know? Did he come out as gay as well, or it was just like spontaneous?
It was a random person.
Where you at?
So this is the time of dial-up. You remember dial-up on the internet, where before you could have the broadband, you had to dial up through your phone to get on the internet. And I went into a chat room and pretended to be like a different person, different identity, in case people knew who I was. And so I met this random guy in Birmingham, where I used to live, and literally met him in some car park. I mean, we're looking, what, 2002, 2003, back then. And I guess my biggest fear was, because I was a pastor and I'm also a gospel artist, so that's why my name's Richard Bailey Music, because I do gospel music. It can't get any worse, can it, Judi? Do you know what I'm saying? So literally, I met this guy in the car park and thinking, right, I've ever seen him in my church? And it was like, no, so it's quite safe. And so we were talking for a bit, and then that's when I had my first gay kiss, and I felt so normal. It was like, oh my God, I feel normal. I know, this is nice. This is nice. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I find women incredibly beautiful like yourself. You're just absolutely stunning. But I knew from that point that I know that I'm gay. And I was in that dilemma of like, well, I can't stay in my marriage, and I certainly can't stay in the leadership that I was in church and stuff. And it was like, I had to leave.
Really?
And
that must have been hard as well.
It was really hard.
Did you have the full conversation with your ex-wife, like? But she knows now, right?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she knows. I mean that you know, when I got divorced many years ago, my sister said, look, you need to be honest and tell her. But I knew what the repercussions would be, but we won't go there. But anyway, so I met my partner, and then we were together for 15 years.
Oh. How did you meet him?
Online.
Right.
Met him online 15 years ago. And we basically made a decision to have more of a work-life balance and to get a bigger property. And as you know, property's so expensive down south. So we moved up north, and we moved up to Leeds. And then a year later, he just came out of it and told me that we've come to the end of our journey and I don't love you anymore.
What? After 50? And what, no other ex, what, just come home and just... How did you deal with that, Richard?
Shock. So basically, I was hurt, really hurt. I'd never been hurt like that before.
Yeah.
And because we sort of co-parented my daughter, because at the time she was only 4, so like we'd have shared access with her mum.
Yeah.
So he had that relationship with her too. It was one of those situations, Judi, where I always thought that we were right. We never argued. We never, if we disagreed, we always talked about things. You know, there would never be any raised voices. And we were best friends.
Mm.
And when I got told that, it was like my world came to an end.
Mm.
And it's taken me 2 years. And going back to like the whole conversations this evening about having therapy, I had to go through a lot of that. And that sort of inspired me to think, do you know what? Going through therapy, I want to train as a therapist. So I'm a qualified coach. So people that want to develop in terms of personal goal setting or rebuilding their lives or exploring emotions and the past, I do that as part of my role as a learning and development consultant for the council. That's what I do today. But it's taken me 2 years to get to the place where I think, do you know what? I'm now ready. So I'm looking for a man. Judi, I'm asking you to find me a man.
Richard.
Come on, Judi, you must know enough people in the industry now. Come on, find him.
What, you know, I love that you've been honest, because I feel like in all, you know, sexualities, people go through stuff, and just the heaviness of not being able to be honest about what they've gone through and the transition, and showing how love is so many different dynamics and complex and has different individuals, and some people get hurt and you rebuild again. And then you found that love where it felt right. And then obviously coming to that devastating end, and then you bringing it back and saying, it took me 2 years and I had to take the 2 years to have your healing, and now you feel ready, and it's really important. You know, I'd say, what kind of man are you looking for?
Listen, sweetheart, anything. No, on a serious note, the only type that for me right now, you know, we all have issues, yeah, we all have bits of baggage that we work through in life, but I cannot get into a relationship with somebody that's not grounded. Because I know.
Explain to the people what you mean by grounded, just in case.
So what I mean by grounded is people that don't really know who they are. Because the thing is, you'll end up sorting out all of their issues for them.
Come on now.
And I'm 48 now, and I don't want that. You know, what I want is a partner that's compatible, that's faithful, that's honest, that's handsome. And you know what? You know, I trained as a teacher. I used to be a head teacher. I was in education for like 20 odd years.
Wow.
In early years. So, you know, Sure Start centres and things like that were part of my domain. And I love children, absolutely adore children. So, you know, if I can't, my desire is to have children again, but that may be through adoption or fostering. So for me, a partner's got to be someone who loves children too.
And stable. So So with regards to the topic, what we're saying about children or partner, would you compromise on having children if you felt like you met a good partner?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to, if he said, babes, I don't want to have children, but you feel like he's definitely a great partner, you would.
Yeah.
So you, okay. All right. Because some people, I think there's some people that feel like, no, they're not going to compromise. They're not, if the man or woman they meet don't want children, they're going to leave that relationship. But for you, do you think it's different for you because you've got a child already?
I think so. But also at the same time, it's because I guess what it is, I've always been surrounded by children in my profession. I absolutely adore, you know, playing with them and engaging with them, and I find them really fascinating. But I'm willing to compromise that. So if we don't have children, but I'm in a stable, secure relationship where we can go and fulfill our dreams together, that would be amazing.
Someone said they can't wait for you to write a book.
Well, you know, people have said to me that I should do, because I come from the arts as well. So I'm talking, you know, I've been in film and TV and stuff, but people have said I should write a theatre production about it, because I did go through a lot in terms of like the church and my family and rejection. And I came to a point, Judi, where actually I didn't have any engagement with my family for 10 years. Because when I came out, it was their worst nightmare and embarrassment and shame. And so I had no engagement with them for 10 years.
And how did you get through being rejected from your own family? You know, the place where you're supposed to go to feel safe.
I think that's one of those things where, I mean, when I was ridiculed as a child by them about, you know, you're a puffed, or you're a queer, or you're a, you know, faggot, all of these really, really derogatory names, you know, the rejection of all that without me. And this was when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, going through, you know, puberty. And I didn't really discover myself either. But when I actually told my parents, there wasn't anything. It was just, And so it was always a subject that you don't talk about. And even when I was with like my ex, if my parents ever phoned me, they'd say, how's your friend? And I'd be like, which one?
Which one? Because I've got a partner. Can I ask you, Richard? Obviously,
ask me anything, darling.
You cannot say for everybody, but you know, even MJ, who was on the other day, he's done a video about this today, talking about women picking up men who actually he can see that they're gay. What to women and to men who are dating people who possibly are too scared to come out? What would you say? There's some signs that they could recognize that, hold on a minute, but maybe my partner's not living their real life and maybe they want somebody else who's the same sex.
That's a really, really broad question.
It is, isn't it? Because everyone's got an individual base.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you can say certain things, but they might just be a stereotype of what
Absolutely.
people would perceive as a gay man or a gay woman.
I mean, people would, before, like, when I was married to my ex-wife, people would say, I'd say, they'd say, oh, have you got a partner? Like, oh, yeah, I've got a wife. And they're like, oh, you got a wife? And I was like, yeah. And I've got a daughter. You've got a daughter. So people subconsciously made their conclusion that I was gay. And it was almost like waiting for me to affirm that by saying, yeah, I'm with who, whatever, Peter, Paul, whatever. So again, because I think people, I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'3" and giving all my stats away now. Really tall, broad, hairy, half Italian, whatever, right?
Woo-hoo!
Find me a man, Judi love.
I think there's going to be a lot on here that's going to be sliding to your
Listen,
DM.
I'm telling you, Judi, if you find me a husband, you can be my matron of honor.
Well, let me tell you something. You're 4?
Almost 6'3".
You got the shoulders. You look younger than 48. You got a little beard and sexy thing down. Half Italian. I don't know what more they want.
And most of all, the most important thing, Judi, I've got a really kind heart.
Yeah, and that's. So, what kind of guy are you looking for?
Looks-wise.
Looks-wise,
Okay. Looks-wise.
Looks-wise.
I don't know if you know, like in the gay community, we have these things called tribes. Do you know about this?
Well, someone was telling me about bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would be classified as a bear.
Would you? But they said the bear was bigger.
But I'm broad. I mean, I've got a 44-inch chest and a 36-inch breast. I mean, a skinny thing. Yeah, string bean.
So you would be classed as a bear.
I would be a bear because I'm tall and I'm hairy.
Is there a twig? Is there a twig?
A twink? A twink is somebody who is very young. So they would be like 19, 20. See, I'd never even heard of these things. Like, I entered the gay community and they said, oh, you're a right bear. I was like, what does that mean? What? And then they went, do you go for twinks? And I'm like, what's that?
What's in between the bear and the twink?
A cub.
Cub.
And then you have people like, another tribe would be like, they call him the guy next door. So it's like a phrase of saying the guy next door is really hot.
And he's not as obvious as like the bear.
Yeah.
So what you're like a bear. What's your type?
I like bears too. Someone who's like tall, broad. I've got loads of tattoos on my arms. So someone who's sort of tattooed up, hairy. So
you like quite a masculine kind of.
Yeah.
Well, she making seem like yeah.
Did you notice that the voice went deep?
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Are you good? Are you fine with all cultural backgrounds?
Listen, I've had a black boyfriend. I've had a white boyfriend. I've had both. So me tasted chocolate.
So you're good for all. What age group?
Somebody over 30, because I think, I'm approaching 50 in 2 years' time, so it's got to be someone.
You look good, man.
It's all expensive skincare products. I use a brand called Elemis, and it's really, really good. And I think as well is that, I try to lead a healthy life in terms of, I don't do drugs or anything like that. But yeah, people say to me, you can't be 48. And I'm like, well, I am. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't mind cultural difference. Is over 30, working, ambitious, grounded. What if he's got children as well? You don't?
Fine, that'd be lovely. That'd be a bonus.
Yeah, because then you can, even though your child is like 20-something years old, but still, it'd be nice because you still have that energy of wanting to be a father in somebody else's life. Yeah. Well, listen, I've got to ask you the important question. Do you sing as well?
I'm a singer. One of my friends knows you really well. You know Sarah Tabo?
Yes. Is that you know Sarah?
Yeah. So I'm a gospel artist. So my music, you'd love it, Judi. It's very.
You sing us something.
I mean, I sing like me mouth dry. Listen, I ain't done no warm up of vocal, but anyway, yeah. Well, you look now, you ask me to sing it, it's 10:30 at night. I mean, what's the neighbours going to think? You fierce. Sorry. It's being part of the black community in the church. I learned how to talk like that because before I couldn't. And it took me ages to understand patois and the slang and what it meant, but I get it now and I love it. So when you do it, it's so funny when white people are looking at you like, what the hell is she going on about? Whereas everyone's laughing and, you know, the white person's sitting there like this, puzzled. Right.
I know Sarah really well. She's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So basically my music is gospel and it's very R&B, funk, and I get other artists to feature on my music. So June, you must know Lifford Shillingford.
Yes, yeah.
So Lifford features on my latest single.
Nice, nice.
Do you remember a song called Battle, which was by Lane Gray and DJ Wookie back in the day, back in 2002?
You have to sing it.
Every day is like a battle, but we'll overcome.
Yeah, yeah. Life is yeah.
So
yeah.
Lane features on one of my other songs as well. So
I
yeah.
love
So
that song.
oh, that's tune, man. Sorry, my voice was rubbish then.
It's all right, babe. I was right.
But yeah, so I basically sing, I songwrite, and I used to be a rapper.
Oh, excuse. Listen, just go and find a publisher and get that damn book, okay? Because you're sitting on a gold mine, baby.
Listen, whenever you're ready to do a duet, sweetheart, I'm ready.
Well, this is what I'm saying, babe. Listen, it's been amazing speaking to you. Thank you for being a supportive follower for all this time.
All these years.
We're talking about 7 or so years. Like, oh my gosh, whenever I've got a show in, is it Huddersfield you're at?
Yeah.
You're on the guest list, babe. Obviously, pandemic.
Oh, sweetheart. Do you know, all I want, Judy, is a Judy love hug. And I know we can't do that right now because of COVID, right?
We will be able to soon, babes.
Yeah, and that's all I want is a cuddle, a kiss on the lips or on the cheeks.
You get on the lips, saving the lips. You get on the cheek because I'm saving the lips for the husband.
Listen, sweetheart, my lips are thick like yours.
You got good lips, you know, though, babe.
Everybody says that.
You got good lips, you know. Just watch out. If anyone wants to watch out. With Richard, we've got up to this special question, Richard. Is it okay if someone who is watching it is interested, slides into your DM?
Yeah, but I don't know what a DM is.
Oh, I do.
Listen, this is the first time I've ever used Instagram, right? And it's only because you do your show on here. And I'm like, listen, when you're saying Richard Bailey request me, I'm like, how do I do that? I don't know.
So in the corner, the right-hand corner, there'll be a little knob that you press and you'll have...
Oh, yeah, I like a knob.
Oh, Lord, we'll have all questions. You'll have all these messages from people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you can talk to them. Be safe, but you can talk to them and see. You have a lot.
Okay. I can't see any at the moment, Judy.
You have to come off this first and then go to your craven ras, yeah?
I'm telling you, me fast, you see.
Go to the corner, the right-hand corner, press it at the top, and you will see like messages. And then it will have messages that you haven't answered, that haven't requested, yeah?
Lord have mercy. I mean, I'm not going to sleep till midnight with the message.
Good. Much love to you, Richard. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely amazing.
I love you, Judy, love.
You too, baby. Bye, babe.
Bye.
Wow. I mean, Richard, he looks good. He looks good for 48. He looked good. We've got 15 minutes, babes. Like, this has been a very interesting show. Like, very interesting show. Let's go. Life is Oh, anyone saw that I'm on Celebrity Karaoke? The press release came out today. Don't ask me where I came in the show. Just know I was in the show. Give thanks. Hello.
Oh, what? Oh, I literally just sent that. I didn't expect you to.
Came up next.
People in here, you're never going to see me. I'm sat here in my pajamas, like.
Don't worry, babe. What's happening, girl? What's your name?
River.
River. Are you single, River?
Oh yeah, I've been single for about 8 years.
You said that like, oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah! I'm like,
Why are you single? What's happening? Why do you think you're single?
why am I single? Because I learnt the truth.
What was the truth?
No, just too many painful experiences. Then came out as a lesbian and just not really found that one.
So was you in straight relationships beforehand?
Both, yeah. But I will accept responsibility that maybe not all of my relationships worked because I was a lesbian.
Okay, so now you're out, and are you not meeting other females? Are you not? What's happening?
No, I've met a couple that have taken my interest, but because I've had quite a difficult few years, I just felt I need to go through my own healing process before I can to anybody. It's one of those things where you're too busy, or you like have this fear of being hurt or whatever. And yeah, I like being single. People have like a problem with it. They're like,
Someone said,
like
Nad Life 641 said, I'm the one. You got a lot of fans on there, River.
You the one? Is it?
Even with the nightie on, I'll see them up there.
Am I pulling in my pajamas?
You're pulling them in, girl. They're just like, she seems so sweet. Here, River.
Thank you.
So, you said you went for a hard couple of years. Is that breakup or?
Yeah. It was a breakup, and through systemic racism, my ex took my children off me, and yeah, I haven't seen them for like 18 months, and I've never been apart from my kids, so I've been sorting that out. Yeah, it broke me.
River, no, just put the glass down. What do you mean through systemic racism your kids was taken from you?
Because I told the truth about things that were going on, and I was silenced.
What was the truth? What was the truth?
About abuse, about companies that were doing things that were wrong. I'm a little bit cautious of saying too much online because
yeah.
Still
so
fighting.
has your kids been taken under Section 20 or?
No, the dad. The
Right.
dad evil. They shouldn't be with him. So, but because he's a powerful person and a multi-millionaire, he managed to silence me. I was on legal aid, so it was like Minnie Mouse fighting Tyson.
Right.
It wasn't fair at all.
Okay. I don't think we should discuss it.
50 Shades of Wrong. Yeah. But lots of evidence of the truth, and now I'm finding myself around people that can actually like challenge those hierarchies. But I didn't know people like that existed.
How do you get to a stage of, continuing normal daily activities, knowing that, you're not seeing your children?
At first, I completely crashed. So after they took my children, and I had to be on because I couldn't afford a solicitor and I couldn't afford to fight this man. So then, within a week of the children going to him, they then evicted me from the house, saying I wasn't entitled to it
because you didn't have the children in the house.
Yeah, so I sort of lost everything, and so I just live in my car because I didn't trust anything and all the systems or anything. But then they were looking for me so that they could sort out arrangements with the kids and things like that. But I completely crashed. So then they put me in jail, and I still don't have a reason as to why I was there. So after I was in jail for about 3 months, and then I had to do probation for a year. I've finished that, and probation is still not given me. So I'm in the midst of suing them because I still haven't had a reason why I was locked up. I didn't know when I was getting out. I didn't know why I was there. I didn't even know where I was. So it turns out I was in Gloucestershire, but it's just there's so much that is wrong with this country's system. Not for everybody, but for many people. But it's covered up too much, and so I commit myself to fight Black Lives Matter and the gay community, activate for them, and I work as like a advocate for disadvantaged teenagers and people to allow their voices to be heard, because I'm far from being so
you know, I'd say
once you've got nothing to lose, you go, do you know what, I can either stay down or I can stand up. But then I kept meeting other people with similar stories and things to say, and I just thought, I've got a passion in me. Do you know what I mean? I've studied law at university. I've been a good person. I've been in the army. And I just thought, I'm too strong for you to beat me. Like, this isn't over. And so I stood up and said no. And I kept going. And that's what I'm doing.
I think, you know, there's another person here that's going to come on after you, which is Kishon. Kishon, if I've just seen you, we're going to have you on after this lady. And, you know, he will talk about healing and going through and trauma. What I would say to you, babes, is that maybe, River, that is such a hard thing to deal with. Maybe dating is not...
No, that's what people go, oh, you're single. But I'm like, I'm not in a place to date.
You actually did say that. You said you're all right being single.
Yeah, I like being single anyway. But at the same time, I've got too much that I'm doing to bring, like, they'd have to be, like, I ain't even got time for that.
Someone said, Coco said, no matter your downfalls, River, your wrongdoings are your past. You deserve to know your babies, and I hope it's sorted out soon. Brooksy said, bless you, man. Keep your head up and you will get your kids back. God is good.
No, I've got every single faith in that. Every single faith in that.
What advice, River, would you give to anybody that, you know, is going out?
One of my closest friends said to me the other day, because I still have it, like, all that and the other. And one of the reasons it took me a while to stand up after everything that had happened, my own fear. It was believing the lies that had been installed in me and going, oh, what if this, what if that, even though it wasn't true. And she said, fear stands for, I might have to get it on my phone. False evidence appearing real.
Wow.
And when that sunk in, and it was a game changer, you know. But the advice I would give to people is, life can knock you down sometimes, but get back up. Do not stay down. Remember that whatever you're going through, whatever people try and whatever boxes they try and put you in, have your anchor thought. So remember that you can change your thought at any moment and change it to a positive one. You can, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you.
Exactly, yeah. And
just have faith. Like I did immediately after I did lose my faith. I've been a Christian for many years, and I was angry. I was like, "What? I've followed you all these years," and I was just like, "How? How did?" But even now, I'm like, I keep my faith. And even though I don't always know the plan, and people sometimes say to me, well, if you want to make God laugh, that's the plan. I did. But it's not like that. There's a bigger plan that you can't even imagine it. And whenever you just keep that faith in your heart, and a lot of things are making sense now. And it doesn't mean I'm grateful for anything I've been through, but it means that I'm in a position to fight the fight I wanted to anyway, and that I'm going to get an even bigger result
in the end. You know, there's many people in here showing you so much love, and I want to say to you, thank you for sharing your story. And you know, we don't want to go into it like that because of legal stuff, but
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you've got a support network, yeah?
I'm an example of success if you believe. And
Have you got a support network though?
yeah, I've got a huge support network, and I am a support network to many people. Like, that's what I do. Like, so I'm a positive influencer on TikTok. I started Instagram just after Christmas. But no, I no sympathy or anything. I'm good. I am good.
But before we say bye, we want to make sure that you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much. And, you know, if you ever, you know, need to sort of just message and connect with people that message you, obviously keep what you can private, and we wish you the best of luck.
We're good.
Much love to you, babe.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Wow, her voice was so... Guys, you see quarantine date nights. It's been a deep one. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, do I say your name right? Keyshawn?
Yes, you said it right. That's it. That's exactly what it was. Yes.
Keyshawn, I don't know if you just saw. I don't know if you've been watching that this evening.
I caught the last 5 minutes.
That
5-10 minutes.
I need you to. It's like God definitely brought you in at the right time.
Yeah.
I need you to tell the people who you are, what you do.
My name is Keyshawn Scott, and I am a relationship coach. So I help men and women overcome toxic relationships, breakups, and help you heal and transition from brokenness to wholeness.
What did you think about what you just heard the lady say? She's saying she's in a better place, and she's used her heartbreak to bring her the strength, and she's very aware she's not ready for a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's about just going for the healing and supporting others. How do we know when we have gone through the healing, or still in a place that we need that healing?
I mean, one of the things is like relationships for her is out of the question, right? As gracefully speaking, relationships is out of the question. But you know that you're ready when you're in a position to accept and receive love, right? Without even having an emotional reaction to your ex or to your pain or to your what you really, you know, been through. You know, a lot of people, we don't heal and we have an emotional reaction to our ex, their name, what they did to us, the pain.
And when you say emotional reaction, can you just explain that? Like,
emotional reaction is anything that stops you from being who you are, right? From chasing your dreams, following your dreams, waking up, going to sleep, praying, eating, anything that affects you emotionally, physically, or spiritually, even those things that's making you lose the benefit of the necessities of life, that's keeping you stagnant, that's making you unproductive. Those are the things that we really need to focus on, and those are things that will hold you back as well. But you have to focus on things to grow.
Almost like when they come around, they're like a trigger.
Yeah.
You completely go off track with what you're supposed to be.
But what's so beautiful is that I took some notes with the last 5-10 minutes that I was there. I took some notes based on what she was talking about, right? And I actually seen the pain in your eyes for her, you know, and I know, like, I knew how sensitive that was to you, and you were like, it touched you. It touched you. And what I wanted to let her know, I wish I was on that live with her, like it was like a 3-way. I wanted to let her know that change is uncomfortable and it's okay not to be okay. You know, and a lot of people, me talking as a prime example, there's many times in my life when I'm going through hell and I will smile through the process. And when somebody tells me, how are you doing? I will smile and I will say, I'm okay. But inside, I'm hurting. I am in pain. I'm screaming. I need some help, but I just need somebody to reach out to me because I don't want to go back into a vulnerable place where it seems like I'm begging for something that I'm never going to get.
Someone said here, Jamelia said, how can we stop the triggers?
I mean, you can stop the triggers when you figure out what's causing it. You know, it's a cause and reaction to everything. You have to go back and figure out. My thing, you have to start from the beginning. You have to always start from the beginning. First, you have to see what exactly these triggers are, and don't put yourself in that position, you know, to be introduced by the triggers. See, a lot of us, we say, oh, my ex is always triggering me. I hate seeing him on my timeline. Well, why are you following him in the first place? You know, oh, I hate he's putting up a picture with his or her, unisex. You putting up with his girlfriend or her boyfriend or whatever it is, then block them. You don't have to invite yourself. You don't have to invite pain into your life. A lot of us invite pain into our life on purpose. And then we say, oh, well, I hate him. Why he's not doing it. You're doing it to yourself. Take responsibility for your actions.
Someone said, Christian said, it's hard for us men talking about this. I would perceive he's talking about it's hard for men to speak about their emotions. Is that something that you come across when you're coaching people? Do you feel like men are struggling in getting that space to speak about what they really feel, what they've experienced, childhood or even adulthood, just getting out their own feelings?
Yes, absolutely. And I always talk about that subject very, very, very strongly because I was that man, right?
And when you say you was that man, what was that man consisted of? What did you display?
I displayed a lot of arrogance. I displayed a lot of ego. Like there's nothing that you can tell me. I know me better than you do. So if you tell me something about myself, I will automatically say that's not true, without even identifying if that is a problem in me. Right. See, what a real man does is if my wife tells me something about myself, I want to examine to see if it's true. So Keyshawn, did you really do that? Did you really speak to her kind of roughly? You probably did. If you don't see a problem with your actions, you will continue to mistreat people and you will continue to do the same thing over and over again without seeking help. And then when that relationship is over, you're going to tarnish another woman. You're going to tarnish another woman and another woman. And then you're going to live a life saying, you know what, women don't know what they want. Women are too confusing. No, the problem is that you never took, time to heal and do better and grow and love yourself and understand who you are, what you really want out of a relationship, and even how to love somebody correctly.
And there's nothing wrong. I think it's so important. I think, anyone that dates men, whether you're a man or a woman or trans, you need to allow men to have that space to also feel vulnerable.
Yeah, that's it. Because some of them, they don't feel safe. I have to feel safe and know that whatever I'm going to tell you and my vulnerability is safe with you. And I want you to love me enough to know that if I tell you something is bothering me, baby, I don't want you to throw it back in my face at an argument or a disagreement. I want my words and my vulnerability and my issues to be safe with my woman and vice versa, of course.
How do you think, I know a lot of us sisters, I'm going to keep it real, and just people in general, you have your relationship and everything, you're going back talking to your friends. How do you think this impacts your relationship? Because obviously you want to have your little confidant, your friend, but how much are you supposed to really be exposed? And there must be a line between, talking about, he's got my nerves, she's got my nerves, then actually exposing too much that you're almost making decisions and choices by what your friends and families have influenced your mind in your relationship.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that goes with knowing your partner, right? Because if you don't know your partner, you're just blabbering, you telling everything about your life, and you really don't trust them, then it's going to backfire. One of the biggest things is that you have to know the person you are communicating with, the person that you're being vulnerable with, the person that you're telling all your secrets to. Because if you don't trust that person and you know that person is shady, then believe it or not, when that relationship is over, they're going to blast you on social media. They're going to talk to you like you're a dog. They're going to make you seem like if you're the worst person. And a lot of people, they want to hear your problems because it makes their problems feel less tough.
Wow.
So a lot of people, they're just like, keep telling me your problems because it makes me feel better about myself that you're doing worse than me. And in relationships that happen as well, because we want to feel like we're the inferior partner. We want to feel like if we're the superior partner. So if you're going through something and you're venting to me, that makes me feel better about myself and the relationship, which means you need me. I don't need you because you're telling me about your problems. So I'm your crutch. And when you become someone's crutch, that's a problem.
It's a real problem. And when
big problem.
Pattern of behavior change, they can't handle it.
Yeah.
Keyshawn, I feel like this show today is really being about relationships, couples. We always do about singles. We haven't as many single people on, but really the depths and the crux of relationships and looking at how we've learned about love and relationships. There's a lot of single people. We know this. Like, how do we know when we, you know, somebody is genuinely interested in us?
That's a process, you know, and that's a process as well, going back to kind of like take away from what we just said, but not delivering so much information to see if that person is really going to pursue you. You know, as much as people always say that men is pursuing, women pursues you too, right? It's like a give or take kind of relationship. When you find yourself depositing into someone and withdrawing nothing from them, then that's a problem, right? That's a big problem.
So when you're investing your time, you know, you maybe they said they like something and you remember it and you're able to remember things that they're doing, but you're not getting anything back.
Back in return, yeah, because there's a lot of people pouring into people, and people. I wrote a post the other day, and I was doing some research, and I realized that some people just love the way you love them because they've never been loved before. So when they love the way you love them, then it makes them feel good, but they got nothing to give you. They've never been loved before, so they just want that. They just want that love. They have nothing to offer because they don't know how to express it. They just want it because it's something different. Wow. And those people will go from relationship to relationship, yearning for something that they're trying to fill, but hurting people. Number one, consistency. They're consistent with their actions and they're also consistent with their words. People who aren't consistent, their words are always shaky. They're lukewarm in their intentions. Number two, someone who communicates to you consistently, you know, not just when you're moody or when they're moody. I don't want to talk about it right now. Someone who pushed past their pride and communicated with you. The third is many, but I would say those are the top three. But the third one, the number one, I will say someone who has grace towards you. They know that you're not perfect and they know that you make mistakes. And they know that they make mistakes as well. So when you make a mistake, they'll say, you know what, it's all right, babe. I'm not perfect either. And I'm going to screw up at one point in this relationship. So I want to offer you grace because 5 years from now or 2 months from now, I'm going to mess up and I'm going to need some of that grace too. So I'm going to show you what I need. I'm going to meet the requirements of your requirement. I'm going to meet the requirements of my requirements for you.
That one day struck a nerve, the grace one.
Yeah.
The grace one struck a nerve because it's not often that really comes with someone who is not judgmental and is trying to learn you, understand the reasons why your behavior is a certain way. Someone who is listening to you. I think that is really key. That grace one is a key gem. You know, I think we was talking about babies and having children, but from what a lot of the conversations I have with women and men and, you know, and when they message me is sometimes they're in something with someone, but nothing's not clarified. When is the right time to say, what is this? Oh, it's breaking up. Oh, it was breaking up. Are you back? So it was breaking up.
No, I got it. Yeah, my phone, it's at 20%. So I have to press the thing.
You better talk quick.
I said, 20% is a long time. But I always told people, right? Like in my first book, I remember I wrote this specific sentence that I remember to today. It said, love is when you no longer question your emotions, right? And I wrote that with so much intention because when I was going through my last relationship, my last breakup, I always said, you know, love is not that difficult. Love is not hard. People make love so difficult, right? Like a man who's pursuing a woman and you know that it's true, she wouldn't even have to ask, what is this? He already told her what it is based on his actions, based on his availability to her. See, a lot of men, they're not available emotionally, physically, or mentally. They have nothing to offer. So a woman will always question what they don't have to offer. They will always question, what is this, babe? I don't like where are we going? Because he's not showing her any direction. or he's not seeing any direction in her. He doesn't see a future. Someone who sees a future with someone, they will plan the course in order to get to the goal. But if you're just walking separate ways and you're just lackadaisical and you just love the idea of love, but really not the substance of being in a relationship, you will always question it. People want the idea, but are afraid of the substance, because the substance of relationships and the substance of love is scary, because it's risk being hurt. It's risk being in a divorce. It's risk it might not work out. So you have to date for the substance of a person and not the idea, so you won't have to question their intentions.
Wow. So you're saying that you won't be confused or have to question your emotions. It should be simple. It should be there. They will be directing, not controlling, by directing. You can tell by their intentions and how the intentions manifest in your communication, in their consistency. You won't have to be saying and having the long phone calls with brethren saying, I don't know, I don't know what to do. If you are in that situation where it's like, I'm still stuck on that one, because that one there, the grace thing, and also you won't be confused and question your emotions is real. Let's be real, some people are stuck in that because they get into that kind of, comfortability, that sexual situation. How do you approach this conversation? If all of that hasn't been said and you're just biding time and going along, how do you how do you approach it? But from your eyes, as someone who's talks about relation, why is it important for you to know what this is?
Oh man, it's so important for you to know, because if you don't, you'll spend decades in a relationship that you weren't meant to be in. I see a lot of people, they spend a lot of time with someone trying to change that person so they can get an answer to what this is. What this is can be at length as well, because some people be in relationships be like, listen, I've been engaged for like 2 to 3 years. I don't know what this is. And what this is, you've been in a relationship for 3 years and you didn't know what this is. That makes no sense, right? Like, how are you in love with a person, or say that you're in love with a person, or say that you want to be with someone for the rest of your life and you don't know what this is? So how you approach that is to go back to the word grace, knowing that, listen, I'm not going to spend another 6 months or a year with you if you don't know what this is. Now, I love you and I have feelings for you, but at the end of the day, I love me more. So I'm going to choose me at the end of the day. It's not because I love you less, it's because I love me more. And if you truly love yourself, you won't waste your time playing house. You won't waste your time playing a wife to someone who wouldn't commit. You wouldn't waste your time playing husband to a woman that's not going to get married to you, or vice versa. You're not going to waste your time, cooking for someone consistently, rubbing this person's feet, making love with this person every single day, watching their kids, raising their children, and you still don't know what this is. And they can leave you, right, at any time. They can leave you. Of course, you can get divorced as well. But people, when you're not engaged or you're not married, people don't have that kind of connection to you. So they can come and go as they please. You're single, right? So in a way. So I always say, come to it with communication, strong communication, not to change them, but to let them know, because sometimes you got to be strong. You got to be very strong. You got to tell people, listen, I don't like this. This ain't it. This is not me. What is it? Are we continue this or not? Either way, let me know so I can go live my life and find my king or find my queen, or do what I got to do, because you're wasting my time. And a lot of people waste time.
I think that is so key, and being strong in loving yourself, first, so that you can say, what is this? And that's why I said about trusting yourself, that sometimes you look to, I've got to trust them, I've got to trust them. You've got to trust yourself, because if you are in that situation and that person says, boy, I don't know what this is, you can trust yourself to say, well, this is not me, and I'm going to have to keep it moving. Yeah. Last words, anything positive to tell people about people who are on their own, and maybe how to use this time being by themselves, and ways of trying to connect with other people.
First thing, I remember back in the days, I used to tell people, like, love yourself, figure out what you want to do. And those are good answers, but figure out what your personality type is. You know, figure out what your personality type is. Figure out the type of person you are before you start working on yourself. Identify your areas of strength and weakness. Understand, like, what do you need to accomplish? You know, is it a business? Because if you get into a relationship, you're not going to be focusing on the business too much. You're going to be focusing on nurturing that relationship. And when I say like love yourself, I'm talking about really nurture yourself. You know, really figure out what you're lacking, you know, and love the people around you. Spend time in the moment. And that's one thing that I'm learning right now, is to start spending time in the moment, spending time with my
Why are
daughter.
you learning that right now? What do you think has made you really think about that?
Because it's just like been busy, you know, with work, you know, or interviews, or doing certain things here. And I realized that some days I'm out like 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm home at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then I gotta see clients at night. And then I gotta, you know, clean up the house, you know, put my daughter to sleep, give her a bath. So I'm trying to change my schedule around more, where when people call me or text me, it's like, no, I'm good. Not right now, maybe next week, but right now I wanna bathe my daughter. I wanna sit down on the floor and play Barbie dolls with her, and controlling my time. And I think that's what people need to do. Take control of your time and realize that you are the master of your time. You are the master of your time. And it takes a really strong person to know where their flaws are and where they need improvement at. So I say, like, yeah.
There were some key things you said tonight, and I'm definitely going to put this up. One of the key things was about the grace. I love that one. About people taking the love from you that they've never experienced before and not even having anything to give back to you. Yeah. That definitely, you know, and just about not wasting your time and being strong enough to say to someone, what is this? And understanding, not being frightened of your emotions, so that, you know, the triggers of that, your emotions is being triggered while you keep coming back to this same relationship or having these people around. I mean, you touched on so many gems right there, and then you've just explained about being single and being the master of your time. And I think that's really important. I think we're learning that, especially through being quarantined and what's happened with the pandemic, and how important it is. How long have you been married?
5 years.
5 years. And marriage is not easy.
No, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth it. So basically, we need to just have faith, develop our time, and find out what our personality is, so we can, you know, seek the best person that contributes to our life. Listen, Kishon, you're absolutely phenomenal. Tell people
Thank you for having me.
Where you're from, and
New York,
Brooklyn,
New York. Yep.
What you do again, and where they can find you.
Relationship coach. You can find me on KeyshawnScott.com, or you can just click. We're on Instagram right now, so just click the link and go to my page, and you can find everything in my bio.
Can you do me a favor? Can you please put your name in the comments so people can see it clearly? Because sometimes when they come off the line, once you come off, your name will disappear at the top, and we need your name in there so people can go and follow you. Thank you, Keisha. I don't know if there's nothing else we want to say. You got books?
Yes, 4, I think, or 5.
What are your books, please? Tell me.
Self-help books, talks about relationships. Since we're on the topic of relationships, I have a heartbreak workbook, which actually helps people to transition from brokenness to wholeness, to heal, help you forgive, help you change the way you look and feel about yourself. And I also have another book called The Mouse, the Bird, the Dog, and the Lion, 3 Men to Avoid and 1 to Marry. So it talks about the mouse man, the lion.
You got to tell us a little bit about that, Keisha.
Yeah. So it talks about the mouse man. The mouse man is a sneaky one. It tells you how to identify a man who's cheating on you, who's unfaithful, and kind of the traits. It has stories in there as well from some of my clients who, you know, gracefully told me, hey, you can use a story of the mouse man and his tricks. Then it talks about the dog. Before the dog, let's talk about the bird. It talks about the bird. The bird man is the man who, every time he gets into an argument or he feels uncomfortable, he flies into another woman's coop or bed. So he doesn't know how to argue or communicate efficiently. So the Birdman way of communicating is, I don't want to deal with it. Let me walk out. He always walks out. He never stands and fight. And then you have the dog man. The dog man he's loyal, or he seems loyal, but he'll always leave the gate, go and do what he have to do, and come right back like nothing ever happens. And every time he's upset or angry, he always wants to be next to you. And he's also very jealous. If he sees you talking to another person, like a dog sees you petting another dog, he will get jealous.
Wow. And your other two books?
Life is my first one. It's a self-help book. Talks about love, insecurities, friends, and envy. Another one, Keyshawn Says, that's my quote book. And I know I'm missing one. A devotional book that me and my wife wrote about 4 years ago. It's called The Heart of Gold.
Well, listen, we got to get a screenshot.
Huh?
We got to get a screenshot. Let's go. Lovely. You know, I've told people, go and follow you. What you've said, you've given some amazing advice, and we thank you for your time all the way from.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes.
Look forward to having you over in the UK once everything is cut
Absolutely,
down.
I'm coming.
You know I'll be hosting your show for you.
I'm coming. Yeah.
Put that right out there. And we'll keep in touch, brother. Thank you so much. Much love.
You're more than welcome. Stay blessed and thank you again.
You too. Take care. Bye. I mean, listen, guys. Today has been. Listen, I'm going to give you 10 more minutes. Let me see if I got one more person to come up here, because today has been. It's been one of those. It's been one of those shows. Like, oh yeah, this lady here was asking. Yes. Oh, Nads, was that Nads? It's been one of those shows today. Can I get a hey man? No.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Hello.
We can't see you.
No, you can.
We can see you now. What's happening, girl?
Not too much. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I think you messaged saying that you wanted some advice.
Yeah.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Yasmin.
Hi, Yasmin.
So, do you know what? I've had so much to say to you. Yeah. So, it was MasterChef, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You done your mum proud.
Oh.
Literally, I was sat there and I was like, she's done her mum proud.
Thank you, baby.
I really, really meant that.
Thank you.
And then, like, when I saw, like, a minute ago, I was like, oh my God, yay!
So what advice do you want, babes?
I suppose the Black Lives Matter, I'm not racist at all. That just doesn't, that doesn't run in my blood. That's nothing to do with anything with me. And I just see it as like, it's just a skin colour. We all have the same colour blood. We all have the same colour heart. And today I had like my turban on because I got alopecia.
Okay.
And the face mask. Oh my God, I can't breathe. And that's what I said. I said, oh my God, I've got to take this off. I can't breathe. And someone turned around and said, I'm not going to say it all because it's quite explicit.
Yes, if we could not say any explicit words, please.
Yeah. But basically they said, like, you're a racist white bitch. So on and so forth. And I was like, I'm not being racist at all. All I'm saying is that I just generally can't breathe with the mask. And I felt like I was being attacked. And I said, like, that's nothing racist. I have black members in my family.
When you say you had a turban, are you Muslim? Was you wearing the whole? What was you?
No, it was just like
your
like a headscarf.
And then you had on the okay. So I think the only advice I can give to you in that situation is that many people are suffering traumas, and I think that if you've got black men being murdered worldwide in your local area, you're seeing it on TV, then they're just criminalizing black men, stopped by the police. People saying they're not good dads, they're not this, which is, that's just a percentage. There are great black men who are great dads, great husbands, great brothers. great men in the community that have nothing
Yeah.
to do with criminality. If you see in all of that, and sometimes we don't know that individual person's story, they might have been attacked before, they might have had someone else do that same thing, but they were being a little bit racist and funny. So in that moment, they might have felt like, was this person being sarcastic or being funny? And that's
Yeah.
probably why. We don't condone any kind of language, but we can't. That just might be that individual. And to the reality of it is, I can't speak for all black people. I don't know what that person was going through at that time. What I can only say to you right now is that you embrace people with love.
Yeah.
You be sensitive to other cultures, just like how you want them to be sensitive to yourself. When it comes to Black Lives Matters, if you want to get involved, get involved, and try to understand people on an individual basis and not by maybe stereotypes and stuff like that. And are you looking? Are you single? Looking to mingle? What are you saying?
Do you know what? I'm single, but you know it's like one of them ones. Again, with I can't remember his name, who you was just talking to.
Keisha.
And I was like, yeah, he's so lovely and he was so on point. And I was like, oh my God, he's so right, because I have a few mental health problems. I have personality disorder,
Right.
PTSD, bits like that. And a lot of it's from trauma. And he's so right, you've got to try and find, like, it happens like way back when you're a child and you don't even know. And it's trying to find the triggers, but also trying to find like the right mindset on how to go forward in life. And when them things come to like the front of your mind, you need to sort of know how to control it, because they're always like, oh, take this pill, it will help. It's not always about medication. A lot of it is about like teaching yourself. And I think that's a hard thing with me being in a relationship, because I do have trust issues.
Well, you've just said that you've got personality disorder.
A lot of people, do you know what? I just keep myself busy. I've got a mum that's terminally ill. So yeah, I just put, and I put everyone first as well. He was right. You do block out your own like sort of problems and your self-love, because you want to put people before you to try and, because it makes you feel great that you're helping others.
So how would you, because not a lot of people, I know a bit about personality disorder. For those who don't understand, how would you describe it? Just a little bit for them to kind of understand.
So personality disorder, people think it's like bipolar, but bipolar, with their mood swings, they go on like longer. With personality disorder, your moods are always like that, but they're always extreme when they're down, and when they're up, it's like fantastic. But it's sort of like having a Joker face.
Yes.
So I sort of look in the mirror and I see who I see, but you don't actually know who you are.
Do you feel like in this present moment you are showing us your real side?
That's the thing. That's the hardest thing, because where you've completely lost yourself within yourself. So whenever like you talk to someone, even my mum and dad, and they say to me like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. But am I actually okay? So yeah, that's quite a hard one. And with relationships, you can be like, yeah, I want to be in a relationship. Relationship. I can't get my
So
words out.
I said the same thing. Relationship. You don't want to be in that, girl. You want to be in a relationship.
You know. But you want to have that, and you give your all, everything. You just give all your trust, all your love, even like literally the early stages of talking. And that's where you get a lot of people take you a sort of like a vulnerable person, even friendships. It's really, really hard. And then you also get your moments of, okay, I felt like that yesterday, but today I feel like, actually, do you know what? I don't want to be with no one. I'm okay on my own. So your mind's not really set on something straight away.
Yeah. Well,
But it's,
you know what? You explaining and being present, you know, even if you're not sure what side, you're being present at this moment and how you've explained your condition. I think it's not often that we get to have a conversation with someone who is living this exact experience. And, you know, whatever you're giving us, we appreciate it.
yeah, I mean, this is total, like, me. When it comes to mental health, how I am, I'm so open about it. Alopecia, I'm open about it. I'm all for supporting everyone, but ladies as well. A lot of, I think a lot of ladies get, even like older people, get looked at and they're still judged by something. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had people come up to me and say, "Oh, you look like you've had a hard time. How long have you got to live?" I know. And I've been like, "Huh?" And they're like, "Yeah, you look like you've been through the mill." And I'm like, "I get what you're saying, but it's alopecia." And they're like, "Oh." But I had someone like proper question me, "Are you sure you haven't got cancer?" And I'm like, "No." And, you know, blessed, but thank God I haven't got it. But if I had, how would do you think I would feel?
You asking me that, like, in that kind of insensitive manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm all for ladies, size, colour, disabilities, all of that. Even with men, my ex-boyfriend, he was sadly murdered. Yeah. And the way, I'm not going to go like full into
No,
details.
I don't think you should, because it might trigger someone who's watching, and even yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But he lost his leg through the way it happened. But I still to this day say, if he had been here, I would have still stood by that man's side. Because I think people look at people with, like me, I feel like no one wants to be with me because I've got no hair. And it's like, well, when she puts her wig on, that's like, she looks alright, and she puts a stamp on her eyebrows on and whatnot, she looks alright. When she's stripped back like this, it's a bit like, whoa. And then when you put your wig on and take it off, it's a bit like, okay, are you alright?
Well, in the midst of all of that, yeah, you've come on to 2,000 people, shared your truth in this present moment, and probably encouraged people, inspired people, and you've educated people. And I think
I hope so.
in this moment, that's what you need to hold on to. Might change tomorrow, but right now, that's what you need to hold on to. Yeah. So you've got support. You're on medication.
Yeah.
Do you get therapy? Are you in residential?
Yeah. I get a lot of therapy. I do a lot of self-therapy, so I get books called CBT.
Oh, you do CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, yeah.
Yeah. And I get the simple ones because the words in some of them, I'm like, I don't even know how to
I
say
hear you, girl, because I'm
that.
dyslexic. I hear you. I'll make them up. Okay.
I
So,
literally thought today was Friday, so me with a book.
but the main thing is you get support, and that's what's amazing. Thank you so much for being honest in this
No,
present moment.
thank you so much. Do you know what? When it came up, I was literally laying like that, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm there! I'm in with the girl, yeah!"
You're in with the girls, babe.
Literally, my mum was like, I was talking about you the other day because when I have my down days, which is I get moments in the days when I feel a bit low, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's nearly Thursday. Judy's coming on."
Quarantine date nights.
Literally, and my mum was like, "Mum, went, who's Judy?" I was like, "Judy, love, Mum. She's on Loose Women. Look, look, look." And I showed her like so much of your just funny, bubbly self on here, and she was like, "She's so funny," and I was like, I'd love a friend like you. You literally, you're like a ray of sunshine. You're like having the pill, like a medication pill. You instantly just make.
Alternative medication. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
chuck them
Yaz, isn't it?
tablets.
Is it Yaz?
Yeah, Yasmin, whatever
Yaz,
you want to call me.
thank you so much. Stay safe, stay well, and
And
stay
Joe,
talking and speaking your truth. And that's the most important time. Thank you so much, Yaz.
thank you. You
Thank you.
take care.
You too, babe. Bye. Bye. Wow. For those who don't know about personality disorder, you should really, yeah. We're going to have one more to up it up because we have to, you know, it's important to allow people to, oh, you've been waiting for a long time. Speak. Right, we're going to come on. Hey, girl, we want some good news from you, girl. We don't want no sad news. We want some good news, girl. Come on, give us some good news. Give us some, hype us up, because we don't want secondary trauma today. We want to go to bed feeling like we've learned something, we've had some fun. You know, it's been a bloody great show.
Oh, it has. Judy, I've watched it from start to finish.
It's been a great show today.
It really...
Huh? Because of you guys.
I know. Judy, do you know what, right? You have got some beautiful, really nice followers. You've got some really nice people.
As well.
You really do. You've got some lovely people that come on and just say their stories. And I'm telling you, like when I came on last time, the amount of people that I touched, Judy, I was overwhelmed with the messages.
To end the show, we want to hear how amazing you're doing and how you're moving forward since the last time.
You know what, Judy? Do you know what? I've had time to really focus on myself. I've had time to really sit down and say, you know what? What do I really want? What do I really want? What am I lacking? Like what I can't remember his name. Sorry, he was on
Kishore.
Yes. You know, what am I lacking? What can I, do you know what I mean? What can I, you know, make the relationship go, make it, you know what I mean? Like, I have to sit down and be quite honest with myself.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're still single, you're still learning, you're still growing, right?
Still single, still learning, still growing.
You know what, you look amazing.
Really? Thank you. The hair's getting messy, even though I've done it 4 days ago, actually.
Hair's looking good, babe.
But yeah, but you know what? We haven't really spoken much about the topic, which I don't mind. I don't mind because
we're not going to even get into the topic now because
I know, because the time. But let me just quickly say, me personally, I haven't got kids, but I would love to have kids.
Yeah.
And my ex-partner, the one that I've just broken up with, when we first got together, he wanted to have kids and everything. He wanted it all. And then later on down the line, he was basically saying, no, he doesn't want it. Yeah. Don't know
Well,
why.
that's maybe you see the Lord works in mysterious ways, because now you're not with that guy and you can now invest in someone that wants children. People are saying your skin looks good. Did you get enough cream?
Look, Judy, I'm still on my first one. Judy, do you know what? Honestly, I have to thank you so much. Listen, I said, me ball, you see, me ball, me ball, me ball. Judy, thank you so much. I wasn't expecting that at all. That was such a beautiful surprise. It was, Judy, I'm saying, me ball, you see, Lord Jesus.
Don't worry, that's our little secret. Everyone's going to start asking what you're talking about. Don't worry, don't worry.
I know. But you know what, Judy, I've had time to sit down, you know, with that situation with my ex saying that how he, all of a sudden, he doesn't want kids, right? I'm a person, Judy, that, all right, I know I said in my previous live, I know I said that I'm an orphan, right? Me saying that I'm an orphan, yes, I love my mum. My dad's still alive, but I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
is this why it's so important for you to have children?
Is this why it's so important for me to have children?
Yeah.
No, not even that. I'm just saying, it just led me to say that my dad was a person that he didn't want kids, and he made that very clear. He didn't want kids, and when he had us, he treated us different. He treated us like he really meant what he said, like he didn't want kids. Wow. And even to this day, he still treats us like that. And Judy, do you know what? I'm a person, I promised myself and I promised my mum that's passed away, I will never, ever, ever pick somebody like that to have children that don't want to have kids.
So
if you don't
what you're saying is, sounds what you're saying is, listen, ladies or gentlemen, if you find someone and they don't want children, it don't make sense staying in that relationship, because you're going to end up having children with someone who doesn't want children. Listen, babe, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, girl.
It has.
I just keep doing you, baby. Much love to you.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for picking me again.
No problem. Bye.
See you, love. Bye.
Right, guys, listen. Because I want to end it on a nice, we got one more 5 minutes. 5 minutes on ending it on a good vibe. If it does, hello.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Are you single?
I'm not.
You're not single. Good.
I feel quite single.
You what, babe?
I feel quite single.
You feel single?
I do.
Why? What happened to your husband? What's going on?
Well, I haven't been married long. I can't believe I'm on the show. Hello, thank you for letting me on.
What's your name? What's your name?
Chunky Cardia. That's what I go by.
Chunky Cardia.
Chunky.
Chunky. So why do you feel single? What's going on, Chunky?
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Sorry, my headphones is not good. But basically, I've had to go through therapy quite early in my marriage. Yeah. There's been a lot of, we've been together for 15 years, but we've been recently married. And it's almost like there's been a new expectation put onto it. And I think you was going into the topic of partner and children and baby or partner and stuff like that. And I was kind of thinking, this is a lot to speak about, but I'm just going to summarize it really quickly. Over the years, me and my partners, obviously, it's been quite a roller coaster of a relationship. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've become accustomed to something which I now call, which I'm going to use the derivation, a crap love. Yeah. And that's what we can sometimes get accustomed to, a crap love. And instead of basically taking in that crap love anymore, I've decided to work on building myself. I take a lot of, and I see your one as well, Judy. So yeah, you just absorb things and you also use your energy. Very dangerous. And I realized that I got to a point where somebody was basically scraping from an empty cup, and I hadn't got nothing else to give. So bless Will Smith, cotton socks, but he said something which was about happiness. Happiness starts from yourself. You yourself have to be happy. and you can't expect another individual to make you happy. Happiness is something that you have in yourself and you have to share. You share it with someone that is also has happiness to give. Expecting somebody else to make you happy is selfish. Yeah. So I've been working on myself, exercising and all that malarkey, and I've made my page public, and I'm trying to get myself more, just self-love, self-elevation, confidence. I've also been doing therapy. I've been learning a lot of things, and as a black couple, we've been doing black couple therapy. It's something that is very, I would say, taboo in the black community at times, or not spoken of much, because, I feel like as black men, they find it quite hard to speak to therapy, or like you said, they keep it under the table. Oh, talk it out in your yard, blah, 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 blah.
Can I just cut you a minute, Chunky? Because someone's saying, what is an empath? An empath is someone that absorbs people's emotions. So they're really empathetic, but they literally can feel it sometimes. They can take it on until it becomes their being, that day, that week. It's
heavy. It can be very heavy. Yeah, it can be heavy.
How to control it, and it's a serious thing. And if you are in a wrong relationship that was someone who would drain you, my God, and being an empath as well, if they're quite easy to manipulate and make it feel like they're the one in the bad and the sad, and then you can take on. So you can end up as an empath constantly taking on relationships and people where you are trying to heal and fix them.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that, and that's why something about basically increasing my own energy and protecting my energy and my positive, vibrations, and basically that's what I've been doing. So it's a mixture of self-healing, but also using the therapies that I've been learning on how to actually not just be right for myself, but when I display myself to people, also to be right. But going back to the topic, I'm actually going to say something very open. I have 3 children with my husband, but
say that again.
Yes.
Take out
sorry,
your
love.
Take out your earpiece. Can't you talk? Take it out. Hello?
Hello? Is that better?
Yes. So you're going to say something very honest, which is...
Yeah, I'm going to be quite honest and open, even though there's like over 1,000 people on here.
Okay, but
so
I'm just going to say this, Chucky. The lady's going to be open and honest. If you are not mature enough to accept someone's truth and let them speak, then come off the live. It's just that very simple, because I won't put up with anything rude. Go on with yourself.
Thank you very much, darling. So I have 3 children with my husband, but in between my second and third child, there's a child.
From your husband?
From my husband. So there was a secret concurrent relationship occurring whilst in my relationship that I was unaware of. A child was born. Upon communicating with the person, and actually because I am empath, I put myself last in the situation and put everybody first. So I said, okay, self-healing for me, but most importantly prioritizing children and etc. But in doing that, of course, that's stuff that's come up now, which I'm obviously working on. Going back to what I was saying, when you said about baby or partner, when I approached the situation and I asked about it, the question I asked was, did you want to have children with this person as well? This was the question I asked, because me and you, we've been together since we were teenagers, we've grown as adults together, we've got a child together, we've got another child, and the question was no. That person said they wanted a child, and I guess with the child, I'm presuming they believe the partner was coming upon conversations that I've had with the woman.
Yeah.
They believe that the child would then come with the partner in tow. even though they knew that the partner was attached to another woman.
So she was a mistress.
She was aware. She was very aware. Yeah, she was very aware. So even though I wasn't aware of her at all, like not even the slightest,
not
even
even a little inkling.
Not even like the little discernment in your belly, not even like the little.
I love that.
Yeah, do something.
Yeah,
you know, even get that little something alright. Yeah, but I didn't get none of that. Nothing at all. And I said, wow, this woman is very crafty because she kept herself real secret. But when you say baby or partner, if someone wants a baby, she's older than me and she's older than my husband. When someone wants a baby, they will take a baby if they want it. He's also a participant. Don't get me wrong, because it takes two to tango, darling.
Yeah.
It's not her by herself make baby, yeah? And he's doing his dues as a father. However, when I look at the baby partner topic, that's why I come to the point of saying, well, she wanted a baby, so she took the baby, thinking the partner would be in tow. However, that was not the case because he was already a married man by that point. But still, you want both. I would say some people, they want both. Some people are willing to take the baby and take the sacrifice and the risk with the unknowingness. And when I did
how much they want the baby. But what it sounds like you're saying is, look at the further implications of it, you know, and in that situation,
because now that baby's gonna grow up without a father in her life, and that's not her fault, you know, because you've chosen to have a baby with a human being that already was attached to another family. And it's only due to the fact that I'm actually somebody who's not, you know, oh, this baby's gonna go without a father. I made that very clear that any child needs a father. I'm somebody that had a stepdad and a father, a very absent father, and a very not very nice stepdad in my younger years. He's much better now, but in my younger years. So I think it's good for children to have both parents if it's possible.
So does he see that child?
Yeah, he has communication with the child, yeah.
But you mean in the sense of not being there every day, like how a normal family
No, he's not there. He's not there every day because the dynamics of everything that's actually occurred around the whole situation. And of course, I've made it very clear. I would like my, you know, the children to know each other. That to me is very important. That's very important.
That is so good of you.
That's very important.
Your phone's breaking up. Your phone's breaking up. Betty, I see you. I don't know if we have time for you, Betty Davis. Your phone's breaking up. Go back to where you was, Chunky. Your phone's breaking up. I don't want it to end just like that. I need to finish that. I can't. Oh, your phone's breaking up, babes. Your phone's breaking up. That's better. Betty, I'll come to you after. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, Judi? Can you hear me?
Yes, we literally got like a few minutes. Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna summarize up. To conclude everything, because I was listening to as well. What I've done is I've enabled myself, even as an empath, to basically focus my energy on myself now, focus my energy on God, and basically I've found that loving myself is the greatest revolution. That's what I'm living by right now. You can't control people, and you can't plan someone's life for them. So whatever shape or form this may take, whether God, then me, then my children. That's how I'm living right now. But thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story about. Thank you.
Do you know what?
I didn't even think I'd get on. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm on here.
Thank you so much for being so honest and open. You know, we feel your pain in regards to it, but there's something out of all of that. Even in the midst of you being hurt, you still prioritize the children and the child that's not yours to encourage them to still have a relationship with their father. And it says a lot about the person you are. Please continue to work on yourself, love yourself. And if you get to that stage where enough is enough, Betty, where are you? Betty, somebody, you've literally got 6 minutes because I have to. There you are. Betty, is that the right? No. Is that the right person? Someone called Betty something was asking to come on. If you are, can you request me? Because you've got like literally 5 minutes, but she kept on saying, please, please let me speak. Oh, I found her. Betty Davis. I found, oh no, it's the wrong one. Hold on. Oh God, my fingers are too chunky. You've got 5 minutes, babes, because 12 o'clock I am coming off.
Hey, Judi.
Hey, babe. Listen, you've got 4 minutes because 12 o'clock I am off.
Okay. So basically, I heard what the girl was saying before, but I'm a single mom of 5 kids. Like, I'm 33. My eldest is 17. My youngest is 3. And I've been doing it by myself. Yeah. Obviously, I've had relationships before. My oldest 2 are from one dad.
Yeah.
And the remaining 3 are from different dads.
Yeah.
But they haven't been around. So as an African, I'm Ghanaian. As an African, you do, innit? No matter what you do, regardless of the input of the man or the how can I put it, like the encouragement of the man, you still do for your child regardless.
I think what she was saying is that from her experience, it's important. I feel like that's triggered you off a little bit.
Do you know what? The reason it triggered me,
it's important for
the impact of the father.
Yeah, to have father.
All right, that's what triggered me.
We can do it.
With her dad, but my son, the one after her, he doesn't have no communication at all, but yet he understands because he's a bit clued up for a 7-year-old. Do you understand? He understands daddy's not around, but my daughter's dad is daddy whoever. Do you understand? Because he's been there. He knows of him. He doesn't know his daddy like that, but I've always said to him, when you want to meet daddy, let me know. I'll take you there, but it's up to daddy. I've always said to myself, Judi, I've always said to myself, we are the dogs, and no, we are the bones. The man them are the dogs. Bone don't look for dog. Dog look for bone. So why am I gonna go out there and chase my baby father? Make him come look for we. Do you understand? I don't chase man.
So sis,
that's why it triggered me.
Sis, can I get real with you? Yeah.
Listen, I'm the realest of the realest at this time.
Because I see people putting up 4 baby daddies. Listen, look, we don't know the circumstances. You
don't know someone's journey.
You don't know someone's journey. What I would say, instead of maybe say, 4 baby daddies, why don't you celebrate that even in those circumstances she still had her children? Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Even in the circumstances she's still coming up and having a conversation. Wherever that, look at that. She's surviving. She's getting through.
At the end of the day, she took that step to have her kids. That's a responsibility of itself without the dad.
And it's your body, it's your choice. What I will say to you, sis, is do you feel, that there has been a pattern with the kind of men that you've chosen?
Do you know what it is? I don't think there's a kind of pattern, but I think it's me. You know, like sometimes a woman needs to check herself. If you've been in relationships and they're always ending and you're left My motto is I'm always left holding the baby. Mother Teresa. That's how I see myself. But then maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that's doing wrong. Maybe it's not the man them. Do you understand? So I've come to realize that I need to self-love myself, check myself before I jump into the next one, because you don't want the next relationship to be like the last one whereby you're left holding the baby. Do you understand? I feel to myself, maybe it was me over the years, but nobody knows. We can't relive the past.
I think the fact that you're even open to the question, and the fact that you're having those conversations with you, is a step to learning and growth and self-development.
Definitely, because I've always said to me, my next relationship, which I'm in at the moment, I don't want it to be like the last.
So you're in a new relationship now?
I'm in a new relationship. Apart from the 5 kids and the 4 baby fathers, I've moved on. Do you know what I mean? I've got my business. I'm doing security course. I've just completed my stage 2 of nails. Do you know what I mean? I'm in a better place. But this relationship now, because obviously I've gone through the whole domestic violence courses, the DV courses, I'm now cautious. Any little flag I see, I'm like, he's doing what they used to do. But we need to check ourselves.
So how is this relationship going?
This one's different because
I'm here, so it cut out. It cut out.
Yeah, it cut
this
out.
One's
so
different.
for me, yeah, it's different because I've been through all the lessons and the sessions of DV. So now I'm cautious of how I'm moving on. Do you understand? So this one is different because I'm taking my time. No rush. God's time is the best time. Maybe I was rushing in the beginning. That's why I always fell short. Do you understand? So as I'm older now, you learn. With age comes knowledge. Do you know what I'm saying?
Someone said, have you had time for yourself?
No, that's the thing. I haven't. That's women. Sometimes that's our problem, because we've been in relationships. When one ends, we jump straight into the next because we are used to that security. We're used to that company. We don't give ourselves the time to reflect, kick back, and that's my downfall. I never gave myself the time. So now that I'm in my big old 30 plus, I'm thinking to myself, no man, it's time to do me and the kids. Do you know what I mean? 5 kids, 4 baby fathers, it's not easy.
No.
Do you understand? My kids is borrowing my shoes and borrowing my bag. You get me? I'm telling them, go H&M for yourself. But as a parent, that's it. It's about me. I'm a single mum with 5 children, regardless of my partner. Do you understand? It's me doing this. I have to answer questions when this one asks about his daddy or that one asks about his daddy. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm the bone. I ain't gonna look for no man because you knew you laid down with me. Do you understand? You know you have a child. How do you sleep at night knowing your conscience is there and you're planning life with another woman, yet you've got a child? I ain't about to run down no man. So sometimes us women, we need to just take that stand and be like, I'm growing my child. I'm doing what I have to do. Do you understand? And that's me. I'm very strong because I've been through it.
Do you wish that these fathers were involved in their children's life?
Right about now, from what I know, no. Because sometimes we rush into relationships. We fall too easy in love without knowing the person.
So how long was you single before you got into this next relationship?
About 2 years. Yeah, because my last one before this was really traumatic. So I gave myself that time. I was doing me and my kids. Do you know what I mean? I was doing me, and I wasn't looking for this man, no. Like Judi, you are a funny person. Yeah, I wasn't looking for him, or he don't find me for the roadside. He found me, or I wasn't paying attention. And it was natural, and it's been like that for the last 2 years.
So you've been with him for 2 years?
Yeah, we have. It's coming up 2 years, and it's going good. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to be real. There's some comments that are saying, sis, they feel like maybe you're still hurt. And I think, as a single parent myself, I think some of the hurt that single parents, whether you're male or female, that you have is you look at your child and you think to yourself, I wish I'd picked better, or I wish it had worked.
Do you know what? I don't look at any of my kids and feel like, oh, why did I have a baby with your daddy? No. Because I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, oh, I didn't love him in the beginning, because I did. Unfortunately, it went the way it did, didn't it? Do you understand? I don't regret none of my children. Equal love for all 5 of them. Do you understand? But I wouldn't say now in 2020, I wish it had gone differently, because I could be talking to you now with probably 2 kids or 3 kids. Do you understand? Nobody knows tomorrow. I appreciate all my kids. I don't like, I accept all regrets, because in life you learn, innit? Do you understand? I don't regret none of my kids. If I had the chance to go back, I probably will still have had my kids.
So just to pull up on something, so you broke up with your ex-partner 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But you've been with your new partner for 2 years.
Yeah, so
you didn't have much of a break after your last.
Do you know what? It's Judy, the way it happened is I was, after the last one, my baby last, I was doing me. Do you understand? Doing me, wasn't out there, wasn't trying to look sexy for no man to look upon me upon the road. I was just doing me. Do you understand? And then the 1.5 years came, 2 years came, and then I met my partner I'm with today. Do you understand? I wasn't looking.
You broke up with your kid's dad coming up to 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's coming up to 4 years now. So plus the 2 years with my partner, so 4 years now. Yeah.
Okay.
And my partner before me done move on with Auntie already, Mikala, Auntie. You know when Beyonce said upgrade, you're my downgrade. You understand? So like he moved on with Auntie. I was still doing me, because I was thinking to myself, how can you move on so quickly after someone you've been with for 2.5, 3 years? You've had a child with her 1 year plus, celebrated birthday. Do you understand? How could you do that? While
So
I'm still here.
Your children's dad, the last guy, he's moved on.
He
with
moved
someone
on.
else,
He moved on. That's what I'm saying. You can't trust, man. We feel like we're wifeys.
I think, like I was saying today, I think it's about being able to trust ourselves. I think it's about being able to trust yourself to know, like, something's not right.
And I acknowledge that. I'm not in denial of that. Do you understand? If a professional came to me today and said, I feel like you need therapy, I would take that on board. Because I've always said to myself, maybe it's me. That's why my relationships don't last.
It's not about blaming yourself. It's about growth. So it's about looking at what patterns you've had all the time and finding ways to change that to bring something new. Because sometimes when you blame and keep punching yourself and beating yourself up, you won't move forward. So, okay, there might have been a pattern, there might have not. But let's see what was consistent. You could even write it down and look at these guys and see where the pattern might be. Where was I in my life? Okay, the first guy, the second guy, I didn't really know myself. I wasn't really happy. I didn't have great relationships, or I didn't like where I lived. There were certain circumstances.
And the thing is, me, I didn't have a father figure. So I went through like a professional psychology test, not putting myself out there. And in the report, they said to me that she lacks the father figure. That made me check myself. Do you understand? So am I really getting into these relationships because I need that independency of a man figure in my household?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, and I'm an only child. My mom's an only child. So you can imagine I've had 5 kids from my mom.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I have to check myself.
Sometimes we don't realise things like, I put a video up the other day on my Instagram, and it was this guy, and he was doing like gymnastics with his daughter, and he was throwing her up in the air. Beautiful video. Let me tell you something, that made me cry from my bottom of my stomach, because I've got my dad around, but it definitely made me think about how you, like, he's not around, like, he's in a different country, and I didn't grow with him,
but you still have communication.
Yeah, I know his name.
Yeah,
I can say my dad lives there.
He's there,
but it's not the same as like when you see people talking about their daddy's gone. It made me think about, in that moment of being 40, I was able to sit and think and feel as an empath, like, my God, not having that male that makes you feel protected, provided for. Like, the little girl slipped out of his hands and she cried for a little bit, but he was so direct in, listen, I will never make you hurt yourself. I will catch you,
always,
but you need to listen to me, and this is how it's going to be. And then you just saw her, the confidence of like, okay, yeah. And I just thought, there must be a lot of women and men, and they
who lack that.
Who lack that.
Trust me. Lack that. Trust me, it's like when you see a friend, oh, you got your dad, I'm going to my mom's house, I'm going to my dad's house. You know, sometimes, it's just that bond that you yearn for that. But as a only child, I could have siblings and they could be close to my parents and I have that distance. But as an only child, trust me, you lack that male role model in your life. That's why I feel sometimes as women, we try to branch out to someone who's maybe older, who can take care. Not saying it's like that for all women. Don't get me wrong, I don't want no young bee. What can young bee do for me? You go for someone who's older, especially with me that's got kids. I'm gonna go for someone who's older that could hold me down, me and my kids. Because if you can hold me down, I'm like Mary and the Lamb. I've baggage, bruv. Do you understand? So we always go for someone who's a little bit older, a little bit maturer. Yeah, that's how I feel. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, and I've always felt that emptiness in my life. But I didn't have that bond with him. But my grandma passed recently. It's been under a year, and I feel her absence more as a father figure because I could talk to her about everything. It lacks. It doesn't have to be a female who was that inspirational model. That idol you can go to, mentor, inspire. It doesn't have to be a male. It could be anyone. In my circumstance, I didn't have that male. I had my parents that I could go to. My mum and grandma has always been there. From my daughter, who is 17 now, to my last born, who is 4. My parents have been the one who has held me when every man has let me down. Like I said, maybe it's my fault they let me down, but family has always been there.
And if you was to get real with it, the family that has been there have been women.
Women, exactly. Because us women, I'm a Ghanaian. As a woman, when you give birth, you bring the baby home. Boy, when you give birth, you take the baby to the woman's family. Do you understand? So as women, we bring home, we have understanding, we have empathy to the upbringing of children. So if you lack a male figure or a father figure for your child or that father, as a woman, you would want to do right by your grandchildren. It's always been women along the years. All the slave women who fighted for us, it's always been women.
What I would say to you, sis, is like, I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing your story. I appreciate you being honest. And as another woman, another single mum, I would just hope that you will be able to find that safe space.
Judi, I done find that safe space already. My God, 2020 was rubbish for everybody. 2021, I found my safe space.
Where's your safe space?
My safe space is because I've acknowledged the faults within me. Do you understand? I'm not denial in my wrongs. I'm not shying away from, if he brings an argument, I have to raw.
But I need a safe myself space safe space where you can, because there's things that you've said you didn't have your father around. You question whether that contributes to how you
today
relationships. You know, you mentioned about your kid's dad, and you shouldn't have to look for him, and losing your nan, and who was like a dad to you. And I mean safe space in whether that is speaking to someone, learning about yourself, whether it's a good friend or family member, that you can have these open conversations and not feel judged. You've said about 4 times, maybe it's my fault, maybe it's our fault. And having that, when you kind of like beat yourself down a lot, that's you actually kind of like abusing yourself in that moment. You kept referring back, and then just saying it, you're actually hitting your chest. Everybody, it don't matter whether they got pick me or not in a normal 2.45 family. Everybody makes mistakes. We're not saying the children are mistakes. We're just making sure that saying that sometimes the circumstances you're in, the place where you are as a person, who you thought you was as a person, might attract something that you make a mistake. But the reality is you can grow from it. So when I say a safe space, I don't mean a partner. I just mean a space where you can actually take the time out to nurture yourself and, you know, just be able to really get to the core of the things that hurt you, because the reality is there's still things that trigger you off.
Okay, so like my facial expressions are because of some of the comments that are coming up talking about I haven't had a childhood. Yeah, I haven't had a childhood. I had a baby when I was 15. I'm 30 plus. I've got a 17-year-old.
The comments, babe. The comments.
No one can't comment towards my journey. Do you understand? No one's lived my life. I appreciate where I've come from to where I am today. Do you understand? Because I could have lost my kids for the government and the social, but because God is good all the time, I still have my 5 pitney under my one roof. Today I sit here Instagram live with you. Some people are saying we need to take this conversation off Instagram, but we're here to talk about these things, to alert people of the type of things people are going through. Because if I didn't come out with my story, someone's sitting there thinking I can't say this because
they can't speak their truth. Exactly.
The truth, you understand? I'm brave enough to see me, and anybody who knows me, I am 30 and I feel like I'm getting silly as I grow up, because the truth that come out of my mouth, take it as it is. That's
It's break up. What I would say to you is,
I love you, Judi.
What I'd say to you, babes, is don't watch the comments.
No, I'm not, you know.
And, you know, people
I'm doing me.
Will watch and learn from this.
Yeah, you grace.
I appreciate you, sis. Wherever you can speak, if there is someone you can speak to and go through these things, we all go through different feelings, different emotion, and it's about finding the space that can help you, you know, heal it and contain it and use it to the best of your ability. Thank you so much.
Someone says therapy. I don't need therapy because I'm not in denial. Do you get me?
Me personally.
Would you say?
No, what I was going to ask you, would you think I need therapy?
You?
Yeah.
Lovely you. Judi, love you use therapy. Nah, darling. You as a therapist, I would come to you.
I would say to you, I need therapy.
Really?
Yes. Because
you're an inspiration.
Well, as an inspiration, I will tell anybody. I would never be ashamed to say that. We all, remember, yeah, I bear quite a lot, and I will say what I have to say. But the reality is, I have my own things where I feel hurt that I'm not with my children's dad, or they, you know, I feel hurt. There's things that I've had in childhood or in teenager life that probably will affect, you know, could affect relationships. I think now personally, I'm much more whole in myself and I understand myself. But to help me through that process of understanding myself, I would never say no to therapy. So what I'm saying,
I wouldn't neither.
So that's when you're so I'm just saying,
I'm not in denial. That's why I wouldn't say no to therapy.
I'm not in denial, so I would still take therapy, because I think sometimes, even if you take away the relationship stuff, we're living in a society where we're labeled. Yeah, where we're doing jobs that we don't like. We're meeting people that are being racist, oppressive to us, and so much different things. And sometimes you're getting little scars and you don't even realize it. If I'm living good, I still think having a conversation, I'm coming to a different age, a different chapter in my life.
Yeah.
You know? So I think I'm still at a stage where, this stage of life I am, where have I learned to be like this? Is it from my mother? Is it from this independence? How can I make sure it's never destructive to me, that I'm never going to work till I drop, that I'm going to understand financial responsibility. I'm going to understand about putting myself first. There's always different ways. So don't ever feel, if someone says therapy, don't feel like it's an attack, because you've just said to me, you would never think I would say I need therapy because of
no.
Why not? There's nothing
because from an outsider's point of view, when you watch your page, you feel like Judi laughs, she's a joker, she's a comedian, she's got laughs, nothing's going on with her, but nobody knows you behind closed doors. Everyone's got their demons.
But the thing is, this is where society impacts us from our healing, because it doesn't have to be that there's something wrong. We have this stereotype of seeing people dropping down, falling, you know, looking a state. It might just be about having that space where you can understand who you are and what your next chapter and what and how you're trying to develop something. It could be something like, I have great ideas, but I'm not good at pushing them forward.
Yeah.
I need to
Procrastination.
understand where that comes from. Doesn't matter how much TV, how much time we can come in here. I said I'm an empath. There's always different things. Don't let any labels or anybody stop you from getting your healing because we're worried about the stigma. And so it's me saying, with how many 100,000 followers, with nearly 2,000 people on here, working, I'm happy, I'm in a good place. If me saying I would still have therapy, I would hope and pray to God that anybody who would see me as somebody that they would look up to or feel like everything is great, they would not feel away. They would not feel away. We don't have to feel away. No, we don't have to feel away.
And I'm at that stage where I've like I said, I've accepted the fact that maybe it's me in my relationships, and maybe I need that little bit of help, i.e. therapy, to boost me to that next step, to getting better in the emotions, the empathy side, and just reasoning and stuff like that, because it's not easy. Do you know what I mean? I've had a rough journey in life. I'm 30 plus and I've had it. I've been through it. For me to come on live with you, beg you to accept me, for me to put my point across, is because I've got nothing to hide. Someone could stop me on the street tomorrow and say, oh, I saw you on Judi Loves Live. I'll be like, so what's your point? Because that's just me.
Someone said something here which I love. It Praise Dance UK. It says, Betty, you are not the experiences you have been through, which is beautiful, because I think it's almost saying like the stuff that has been through that has hurt you and caused you any trauma. And I did a video about this the other day. You are not the experience. You are greater than that. And I said that the other day about, you know, people, abusers, exes, families, the labels that they put on you. Sit in that mirror and appreciate yourself and love yourself and know, you know what, I went through all of that, but guess what? I'm still
here. Yes, amen.
You're still here, Betty. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judi. And thank you, everyone, for your comments.
It's no problem. Just take care of yourself and your beautiful children. And much love and appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, babe. Bye. Bye. You know what? Tonight has been, you know me, I'm usually off by now. Tonight has been a very, very eventful. Very, very eventful. And people come on, it's quarantine date nights. But you know what I love about this? You're on a date. And everybody that's on here, including myself, this is the people that you will date. And it's so good to understand different dynamics, different elements of communicate. And today's been an eventful day. And it's not been sad. It's been very interesting. And thanks, guys. We'll end on a good one. We're still here. You see that? Love. Listen.